What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the City Life Project YouTube channel for yet another RIZIN picks, predictions, and preview video with the mighty J Wolf from the We Are RIZIN podcast and Focus Fights. J Wolf, looking fresh, very musketeer-like, as you said.
Oh, thanks, brother. I appreciate you coming on again. And I want to first off apologize to your audience about not appearing for the RIZIN Korea show, the RIZIN World Series show that just happened. It was a little miscommunication on the format issue. I thought you were going to be on the We Are RIZIN podcast, so otherwise I totally would have come on. So I just appreciate you having me back here to speak to your audience for this epic RIZIN Landmark 11 card.
Yeah, well, Drew hates the cage and he hates this card, so we didn't want him on here anyways. All he's been doing has been hating on it, so there you go, Drew.
But it's going to be awesome. We got almost 20 bouts, 19 bouts, and 15 of them are superior rule set MMA bouts.
You know what's even better? Only 3 weeks in between cards, baby, because we had the RIZIN Korea World Series literally like 3 weeks ago. So inject it into my veins.
If you got the subscription on RIZIN.tv, this will be, this is a good value time right now. So you have the RIZIN World Series Korea card and now this card. And if you had a subscription for a while, you would have also got the Otoko Matsuri card. And that's another cool thing about this RIZIN Landmark card is that they're upping the quality of these Landmark cards to where now they have an opening ceremony for this one. It's not going to be at the level of the Otoko Matsuri and like the New Year's Eve and stuff, those big time opening ceremonies. But I'm excited to see what they do for this opening ceremony and how big it is. So
this ain't no Azerbaijan YMCA Apex. This is some real shit.
That's right. Yeah, it's in like a 12,000 seat arena. So it's definitely not an Apex Shed warehouse fights or anything. So it's going to be cool. And we got, like I said, and let's let your audience know about the start times as well. The prelims start at 8:30 p.m. Pacific on Friday night, 11:30 p.m. Eastern Friday night, and then the main card the opening ceremony starts at 10 p.m. Pacific, 1 a.m. Eastern, and it'll get it on RIZIN.tv.
God, they're dragging out the 4 fights then. Holy, an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yeah, they got 4 fights in the prelims, and they'll probably do like they'll have those the talking heads talk about it and stuff, and 4 fights in an hour and a half is totally doable, and they'll do it. I mean, because the Landmark cards have lightning fast pacing, and so I don't think it'll go that long anyways. Even when the main card starts, I'm anticipating it's ending around 3 a.m. Pacific, around 6 a.m. Eastern. And if you can't make it that long, don't even worry. The RIZIN.tv stream comes with full replay. So, and it's definitely going to be worth it. So definitely check that out for your audience. And I'm just so happy to be back here with you, Aisha. I look forward to every single epic RIZIN card. Now, I cannot wait to do the City Life Project podcast with you and to talk to your audience and you about this. And just, man, it's just such a great show. Thank you for telling me about my look. I shaved the winter beard off. I'm a musketeer in the summer, mountain man in the winter.
You got the flow, baby.
I got the flow going. Yes, right.
All right, let's get into it. Like you said, we got 4 prelims that I know I nerd out about more than even the boys at the We Are RIZIN podcast and Focus Fight. So let's just quickly fire through them. This one, the Battle of the Unks, Yuki Narita against Nakashi Noto. Noto is 7-9 as a pro, 41 years of age, and he's 1-4 in his last 5 fights. Won his last fight against a 1-1 guy, but has basically just been fighting in Grochin and D-Spiral, Brave Fight, and PFC. Now, Grochin's okay. PFC's absolute trash. I mean, it's fun to watch, and their YouTube channel, I'm subscribed to them. Really good broadcasting, things like that, but let's be honest, the level of competition there isn't great, and Uncle's still fighting because he's Japanese and he loves the fight game. And he's gonna go until he literally cannot walk into the cage or ring. Yuki Narita, I don't know how old he is, but I was watching some of his fights and he seems like he's at least in his late 30s. A way better record, 11-5-2 as a pro, 5-0 in his last 5 fights, 5 knockouts, 0 submissions, and 3 submission losses. So there's something to note there. 6 decision wins. He's a big PFC guy as well. 8-4-2 in PFC, and he's the PFC champion right now. He knocked out his opponent at PFC 36 and Nexus Sprout. It was, I think, in the third round of a title fight, and he mostly just used his wrestling to wear the guy down and then just won via ground and pound, but looked honestly pretty sluggish and slow. This was the third time he's actually won the PFC belt, funny enough, and has pretty much only fought in PFC. His first pro fight was against a 5-12 guy in Deep in 2015. That's about it. Now, I couldn't really find much on Noto that was like recent, just like 10 years ago. So I'm going with Uncle Narita in this one. Yeah, heavy style, likes to smother his opponent with ground and pound. His cardio was good. He just kind of was just big and sluggish. Like you could tell he probably could fight a couple weights below, but just, is hitting up the Katsu stand even before he makes his walkout. So he's going to stay at whatever it is, catch weight of 165. PFC champ. I got nothing more on this one, J Wolf. I think Narita's gonna win, and there's not even odds on this one.
Okay, and I was gonna ask you what the odds say. So
yeah,
the
2-round fight too. Deep rules.
Yeah,
2-round fight.
That's what I was gonna say to let your audience know that if they look at the fight order on this, it says MMA special rules, and that just means that it's gonna be a 2-round
Habib rules. Rules.
Like deep rules. And
no, Habib Nurmagomedov rules, because half his record is 2-round fights.
Oh,
fucking guy.
I thought I said deep rules because Deep has 2-round fights. So.
No. When Habib was fighting in 2 rounds in random small promotions, Charles Oliveira, by the way, was fighting Jim Miller in the UFC. So just want to point that out, guys.
Oh, great. Nice. But yeah, like we found out on the Focus Fights preview for Otoko Matsuri a couple of weeks ago when we had the RIZIN. He's a number 4, number 5 guy there. He runs like the RIZIN English Twitter and stuff like that, and does like public relations with like international stuff. He's also in the RIZIN FF Fans Discord. Everybody go check out the RIZIN FF Fans Discord. It's a lot of fun in there, and he's in there as well. And anyways, on that Focus Fights preview, he was telling us, because we asked him specifically about these special rules bouts that were on the Landmark 11 card, because the heavyweight Grand Prix, one of the bouts that got moved to this card, and he was telling us about some of the bouts in this card. I specifically asked him, is the superior rule set going to be allowed for these MMA special rules bouts? And he said yes. He said
so for the 2-round fights is going to be superior rule set?
Yes, supposedly yes. I don't know for how many of them. I don't know for all of them, but definitely for some of them. It's maybe even all of them because
there's only 3. There's only 3.
You're right. There's only 3 MMA special rules, 2-round bouts, and apparently for each of them they're going to have the superior rule set for each of them.
Honestly,
that's what makes them watchable.
Says the deep hater over here.
No, I shouldn't word it like that, but that's what makes them must see, must
there
watch.
There you go. I was just good save, because I was going to be like, but you did say it and it's recorded, motherfucker.
No, like I was saying on the Focus Fights preview we did for this one, and like I say on the Discord and Twitter and stuff, whenever Drew and them are trolling, talking trash, I go, dude, as long as it's a superior rule set bout, it's worth watching and paying attention to, because it just adds extra drama to the bout and just makes it more exciting. Like I love Aisha. I love how you always give the UFC crap, and whenever the pussified rule set is on display, where they could have totally had a finish.
Juliana Pena getting a point taken away for an up kick. It makes me sick. It makes me fucking sick.
Oh, dude, I love watching you just give them hell for every time when that happens. It's so great to see you do that, man. Please keep doing that. That stuff is awesome.
Oh, hold on. Every time that happens, I'm just gonna share this. I don't know if you can see it. Every time.
That's an oldie but goodie.
I know. Every time I'm gonna tag Dana. I'm gonna tag Hunter. I'm gonna tag Saki Kabara. I'm gonna tag everyone every fucking time.
Yeah, I just love how you just taking the task every single time without fail. No matter if it's like a prelim fight or a main card fight, there's an opportunity where they could have done some superior rule set to finish the fight. You were right there on Twitter letting them know about it and vocal about it, man. I just love that about you, brother.
It's not just the UFC, in every single league that doesn't have it, dude. Cage Warriors, LFA, like it doesn't matter if it's in North America, UK, freaking Azerbaijan. I don't give a fuck. If soccer kicks aren't allowed, it's fake MMA. All right, next one is a kickboxing fight. We have Kohei Nishijima against Shuto Hayashi. And again, a lot of people really don't care about the kickboxing fights on these RIZIN openers. I love them, especially at the landmark events, because, and I joke, these are the only deep kick fights we're going to see live, because we can't see deep kick live here. Shout out to them. They do post their fights and videos on their YouTube channel, but yeah, they don't have the funding to be able to do live production. I'm going to go with Nishijima in this one. Better technique, nicer kicks. Like he throws beautiful side kicks, beautiful spinning heel kicks. I just wrote in my notes, spinning shit and high kicks. But his opponent, man, Hayashi, is a brawler. Like they're total opposites, right? Nishijima, very technical and still like strong. It's not like he's just technical and like in and out of the pocket. Like he will fight. He if you invite the fight to him, he will fight. But Hayashi's like no technique, only brawler. Like doesn't care if he gets hit. And I have a little bit of tape that I'll just quickly show you guys. And I don't have tape for every single or clips for every single fight on this card, guys. I will be introducing a little bit more on these podcasts and these picks and predictions videos with Jay Wolf, but mostly with the guys that I think A, people like want some questions answered, and B, some of the guys that nobody like knows about. So it took me a while to watch a little bit of Hayashi's fight and just look at the way he brawls in this one. And then I'll show you quickly a clip of his opponent and just how different the talent looks, but how intense they each fight. You know it's going to be a good one. So here's just a clip of Hayashi. So you see what I mean? Not a lot of technique, but he's down to fight. And obviously he's red shorts.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And throwing those jumping knees and everything. Flashy striker. That's the one he had written down as spinning shit, right?
No. This is the brawler. His opponent, who actually I'm gonna pick to win in Nishijima. I didn't find too many clips, and this was some of his clips. Or a little clip reel, anyways.
Ooh, nice.
So again, this is just like a fan reel. It was all I could really find, but it showed a little bit of what these two are going to bring, and I think this is going to be an absolute banger on the prelims.
It looks like it. It looks like it. Those are some great highlights, and one of them a breaking down guy, which is, if everybody doesn't know, that's Mikiru's promotion that he does. It's very popular in Japan.
That was good. They got some good fights. Who are you going with? Are you going with the brawler with high volume and pace, who's a little crazy? Or are you going to go with Nishijima, who's a little bit more calm, cool, collected, but talented?
You know, I was loving the brawler's highlights, especially those jumping knees and stuff, but I'm going to go with the breaking down guy. That's the one you picked too, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I hope I'm proven wrong, though, because I'm kind of rooting for Hayashi in this one.
And you know what? I love this. This preview is making me actually care about these, because I'm not that much of a kick guy. I do like kick, and I'm hoping to watch the Glory 100 kick card on Saturday as well, even though it's going to be right after staying up all night for this Landmark 11 card. And also shout out to your co-host for the Rush City podcast.
Yeah,
Jay from Rush Hour podcast. He does fantastic kickboxing coverage. Shout out to him. I'm sure he'll love these kickboxing bouts. But yeah, I mean, just from seeing your preview right here, dude, I'm hyped for this bout now. This is incredible. I didn't know these guys were going to be like that. Like they look like the breaking down guys that got spinning shit, and the brawler is just absolute. I mean, just looks like a volume striker with jumping knees and everything. I love it, dude. I'm hyped for this bout now. I can't wait.
Let's get to the second special rules opening prelim fight here. We got Daiki Kobayashi against Yukito. Is 10-4 as a pro, 3-1-1 in his last 5 fights on a 2-fight win streak, mostly fighting in PFC as well. Kobayashi 1-1 as a pro, 27 years of age. I'm going with Yukito Morinaga here. 10-4, just way more experience. He's 30, so he's not an unk in this one. 4 submissions, 5 decisions. He's 7-2-1 in Nexus, and 2-1 in PFC. He's the current PFC champion as well in his weight class, and I mean, hasn't fought the best guys, but even in fighting Nexus, like earned his way to a title shot where he fought a 13-8 guy and lost in the first round via Darce choke. But yeah, has some knockouts on his record, has some submissions on his record, and is just way more seasoned. And like, look, he's 10-4. That's not a bad record. Kobayashi, look, there may be some young guys on this card that I take swings on who don't have a lot of experience, but he's just not that guy for me. So I think Morinaga finishes this fight however the fuck he wants. He's got good wrestling, nasty BJJ. He's never been knocked out. Kobayashi has power, but he barely has any cage time, man. He barely has any cage time because, his fights haven't even gone to the 3rd round. So I'm going with Morinaga.
I'm going to agree with you as well because I'm not as well versed in these prelim bouts. Like I agree with you on the first one. I'm gonna pick Unk as well. Morinaga, I'll pick him as well. I'm relying on your incredible hardcore knowledge about these fights. So, and does this one have odds yet or no?
No, none of the opening ones do.
None of the prelims have odds. Okay, that's okay. I'm just happy that the odds are out for the main card. It just makes it a lot of fun to help pick some good, some live dogs on this bout on this card, I should say. So we'll see how it goes.
All right, well, let's get to the final prelim on the card. Arashi Suzuki against Suguru Hayasaka. Now, we got another unk here, ladies and gentlemen. Hayasaka, 40 years of age, going up against the 26-year-old Suzuki. And it's so tough, man, because like the obvious pick is the young kid, right? Because he's 40 years of age. But like these Nakamura beat freaking Mini Sakuraba, right? Like Nakamura beat Mini Sakuraba. Like it's crazy that like sometimes these older Japanese fighters just absolutely style on these young guys who like are just better athletes, right? And who are talented and who fight like at a crazy pace. And Suzuki is that fighter to just. He's a crazy fighter. Like he probably is technically sound, but like he wants to brawl, he wants to jump around, he wants to finish you. So he's a dangerous guy, despite him being 2-3 with 2 wins and 3 losses in his last 5 fights. He's a Japanese top team guy. 2-3 in Grotch, and he's on a 2-fight losing streak where he got submitted. But when he's not submitting guys, or when he's not being submitted by guys, he's brawling and he's TKOing guys and he's knocking them out. He did fight a modified MMA rules bout in Breaking Down, as well as a kickboxing fight in Breaking Down as well. And his 2 wins in Grotchen have been via finish. Hayasaka, 21-18-5 as a pro, also 2-3 in his last 5 fights. 0 knockouts, 14 submissions, 7 decisions. 1-0 in RIZIN, 8-9-1 in Pancrase, 5-4 in ZST, and 2-1-2 in Deep. What's respectable about him is he's still fighting 3-round fights. Like in his last 5 fights, 3 of them have gone the distance. His only win in those last 5 fights was an armbar, and then right before that, at RIZIN 43, he actually got an armbar against Daiki Maruyama, who's only 0-2 at the time, but still. But he went back to Bloom, PFC, has competed in Pancrase, and like still is competitive against guys a lot younger than him. Mind you, guys, who don't have the best records. But I was actually impressed doing some research and being like, oh, like he's still fighting. He may not look the best, but like he's not getting like knocked out or finished in early in the fights. Arashi Suzuki, though, man, this is how he fights. And I imagine he's going to do that to old man Suguru. So I'm going with Arashi Suzuki, man. He's got good striking. I wrote in my notes, is he the new Kondo? The under 500 Japanese top team guy who's got hands, and one fight will look like a star, one fight will look like ass. And sometimes he also can get beaten by 40-year-olds. So is he the new Kondo? We will find out. But he does have amazing power. Probably gets the KO, but he's been submitted twice. And what does Hayasaka do best? Submit guys. So Suzuki, funny enough, is the plus 175 underdog. And for him to get a knockout or have the better chance of getting the knockout and finishing this early, I think that is good value. So I'm going to Arashi Suzuki, and at plus 175, I understand why he's the underdog. I think people think Unk, who still has a little gas left in the tank, is going to submit him. I'm going with the Arashi Suzuki knockout first round.
Nice. I'm actually going to go the opposite on this. So I'm going to go with Unk. Because the Japanese, they like to match up the older Unks with the younger fighters to either to make the younger fighters, get over on their name and get a good win, a good experience win on their belt, or get taught a lesson in a loss. So that's what happened to Saku Jr., right? They mash him up, they throw him right in the fire right away, mash him up with crazy experienced guys to see what he can do, drag him into deep waters. So I'm wondering if that's what they're trying to do here with this bout as well. So I'm going to go, and that's why they got the young gun as the plus 165 underdog, you said. And so I'm going to go with the Unk, who's going to teach him a lesson here.
All right. Kanata Ueno against Kensei Yamakawa. Kanata Ueno, 18 years of age, but just like his brother, an absolute savage. Just like his brother, fought in the K1 World Max, both first and second leg, and fought in the K1 World Grand Prix in 2024. So he fought K1 World Max, both shows, K1 World Grand Prix 2024 Tokyo Final. Had a no contest in his last fight in Crush, but I'm really excited to see his development in this one. Just like his brother, they're both so young, I imagine. Him especially being the 18-year-old string bean the last time I watched him fight. I imagine he's going to put on a little bit more muscle for this one. And by the time he's his brother's age, dude, this kid is going to be unreal. He's going up against Kensei Yamakawa, who's 31 years of age, a Rise guy through and through. But has fought in a couple of bout cards and deep kick cards as well. As actually his last fight was in deep kick, where he lost via referee stoppage in the third round. But a guy with a lot of experience, but a guy that I think Kanata Ueno can get past. So him and his brother fight very, very similarly. He's got those beautiful step back lefts as well. He's got really good footwork. For a young guy, he does have good power. I mean, I know Yamakawa has a lot more experience, but he has been a little chinny as well. So yeah, I'm going to go with Ueno. I think he'll be able to mix it up with the low kicks. I think he'll be able to, tease some body shots that will maybe draw Yamakawa, to lean low. And I think he can catch him with a hook. So I'm going to go with Ueno. And I think he finishes him.
I'm pick the same. And I want to say, though, that this matchup is King K1 Crush guy versus a Rise fighter. And I love that. I love that matchup. Remember, I don't know if you remember. Well, of course you do. You remember you were watching. They had a card a year or two ago that was all K1 versus Rise, right? It was a lot of fun. I love seeing those cards, and I love seeing those matchups.
And you know what I remember about that one is, because it was like Crush versus Rise, and the K1 side, let's just say they won some fights that they did not deserve to win decision wise. And I remember Rise crashed out at the end of the card, was like, we're never working with you again because this was atrocious. And I remember I was freaking out watching that. I was memeing the refs who were and the judges who were being paid by K1 to give them the lead over Rise. It was the most like corrupt fucking judging I've seen ever in kickboxing, but it was a lot of fun. But I remember being like, I was like Team Rise the whole time because I'm just like, yeah, fuck the K1 guys, they're rigging it. They're rigging it. The Rise guys are kicking ass with the K1 guys because we're hosting the event or whatever. Couldn't lose. And I remember there were some refs, man, that were just like calling fouls for no reason too. And I was like, this is so crazy. And yeah, then I was like, Rise better say something. And like apparently like on like the broadcast, they're like, we're never doing this again. Like this is ridiculous.
Oh man, so that's why. Darn, that was so much fun.
That's why they're not. Yeah, well, K1, man, leave it to K1 to ruin all the fun.
I know. As long as they get a broadcast, get on RIZIN.tv, get on the Fight Pass of Asia, and everything will be okay because they got the format. As long as they keep the real deal Holyfield 8-man one night Grand Prix format, they'll be fine. But yeah, they got to clean up everything else. So, but in this battle, I'm going to go with the young 18-year-old. The young gun. I think he's gonna just get it done versus the Unk Rise fighter, and this card right here is showcasing both the Ueno brothers. So yeah, looking to see. I'm pretty excited for this one. And that's why they got this one kicking off the main card because it's probably going to be a banger, like you were saying. So it's gonna be awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah, speaking of K1, we got another K1 guy in the next fight. K1 versus Breaking Down in Toshizo representing Breaking Down and Yuya Uzawa representing the K1 gym. Uzawa's 29 years of age, and he's on a 4-fight losing streak right now, and he's been knocked out in every single one of those 4 straight losses. So
ooh, this is the K1 guy?
Yeah, it's not good. That's not. He's fought in crushing K1 and those chaos shows that K1 put on as well. Pretty much his entire kickboxing career in his prime, anyways. Toshizo is a Breaking Down guy. He fought in modified MMA and Breaking Down a 5.5 and won a decision, and then fought in kickboxing and Breaking Down 8, and also fought kickboxing in RIZIN, the Landmark 10 in Nagoya. He lost that one, a unanimous decision, but I remember this guy. He put on a great show. He's got a lot of speed. He's got more of that just like savage mentality, whereas Uzawa is a little bit more technical. But Uzawa's chinny, man. Uzawa's chinny. 4 straight like knockouts in his last 4 fights. So I wrote my notes here. He's way more technical and just overall better, but he's just way too chinny in my opinion. And Toshizo's the opposite. Like he's less technical, but way more of a brawler, way more durable. His kicks are pretty good. His hooks are nasty. No D, all offense. There is no defense to his game, though. He'll just blitz forward, and if he has to take a couple to land that big one to knock you out, he will do it. So someone's going down in this one, and I think it's going to be Uzawa. Oh, and there's I love that there's odds for these kickboxing matches because usually there's not in RIZIN. Toshizo is only the -150 favorite.
Ooh. Wow.
So
nice.
Uzawa's +110. So if you believe in his chin and his experience, I mean, that might be a good underdog pick.
Well, which one is the Breaking Down guy again?
Toshizo, the favorite.
Okay, that's the one I'm going to pick. I feel like this is because they have a good working relationship with Breaking Down as well, and that is the one of the most popular fighting shows in Japan right now. That's like I was telling you guys earlier. That was Mikuru Azakura's promotion, Breaking Down. So they love those fighters, and they're very popular. So to me, you're saying the K1 guy, even though he's a King K1 guy, is on a losing streak, been knocked out a couple. So I feel like this is the Breaking Down guy's fight to lose here, and that's probably. But it's interesting that the odds are so close. That must show that they got a lot of faith in the King K1 guy, even though he's on a little losing streak and stuff. They like his ability, so that's going to be interesting to see how this fight plays out. But yeah, I'm going to pick the Breaking Down fighter.
All right. Let's move to the next one as we get to some mixed martial arts here. We got Reiki Endo versus Zazie Bading. Honestly, that one's not as daunting as I thought it'd be, out of China. So yeah, moving to mixed martial arts, we got Endo representing Japan, who is 16-15-5 as a pro, 1-4 in his last 5 fights. He's taken a lot of damage throughout his career, and he's only 33 years of age, but I feel like in fighting years, he's like 43, 45 right now. 5 KO TKOs, 4 submissions, 7 decisions, 0-1 in RIZIN, 6-4-4 in PFC, and 3-6 in Pancrase, 4-2-1 in Grotchen. Like, this guy's fought everywhere, right? Like, he's getting honorary Unk status just because of him fighting everywhere and so much. His last fight was in Pancrase, where he lost unanimous decision in March. So pretty quick turnaround here against the 10-6-1 Sosuke Kinoshita. He did beat Koji Nakamura at Pancrase Blood 3 back in 2024, but I watched that fight and it wasn't that great of a fight. Before then, he was on a 4-fight losing streak against up-and-coming guys and veterans. So I just think his best days are behind him. And in his losses recently, I mean, I know he's not getting finished, but he just there's just not enough there to beat some of these young guys who are really talented, who can hit hard, and who can just pin him up against the cage in this case, but the ropes here. I don't know. I feel like he's always been kind of good everywhere, but not great anywhere. And that's like really, really transpiring like in his later career. Now, the Chinese kid, 25 years of age. Look at me, I'm sounding like Dana White right now. 25 years of age, only 1 pro MMA fight. So this is like you said, okay, we're going to throw a young guy in there against a vet who may not be on a good win streak and who may be losing, but at least has the general high level MMA skills to be able to test you and see if you're ready. I'm sure he had some amateur experience. I'm sure, right, that Tapology doesn't have here. He fought in Chinese MMA Super League and he beat a 1-1 guy. I'm rolling the dice on this one. I watched what I could from that first match, and it was not, or that his only fight, and it was not easy to find. I had to like sift through Instagram to find it, but I found some moments of the fight, and I'm just gonna bank on him. Maybe not finishing Endo, but landing enough shots on the feet to hurt him. And if Endo gets on top, I don't think he's going to submit this kid. I don't think so. Famous last words, but I think this guy will survive and just do enough damage. I think this will be a sloppy ass fight. I hope I'm proven wrong and that he's way more talented than I think. And maybe that's why RIZIN is giving him a chance. But I think RIZIN is trying to give Endo a layup, but this guy might hurt him. So I'm swinging on this one. And I am going for the Chinese kid.
Oh, nice. What do the odds say? The official odds say?
There are no odds for this one.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Okay. So,
like I said, like Sakakibara, I think they want Endo to win. But like I said, I'm rolling the dice on this one. I just don't trust Endo right now. That's why.
Okay.
Even to win a goddamn decision.
Well, I think you're right because as we found out on the Focus Fights preview, Endo is a local guy, and he's got a real strong build. Drew came up with a good way to say it. He said he has like the Matt Hughes farm build, like a farmer build. I was like, I like the way that he described that. So, he's a stocky guy, real strong.
Yeah, hard to control, but can control you, but just doesn't do enough damage to sometimes wins fights. So he'll survive. Like I said, he doesn't get finished often. He hasn't even his last 4 losses, right? But he's lost unanimous decisions because, like, even if he gets in good positions, like, oh, what do I do? Then the ref separates the fight. Or even if the person gets out, or the fighter, his opponent gets out controlled, if they do a little bit more damage, they're getting the win, right? And that's just how even if this goes the distance, I just feel like I said, I'm banking on this other.
You bank on the Chinese kid being a young gun.
Yeah, and just doing more damage. Even if his takedown defense is shit, like either he scrambles back up to his feet or the ref eventually stands him up because he's not doing any, he's not taking any damage.
Okay, that's good. I'm gonna pick the opposite. I'm gonna go with Endo. I'm going with Unk here, hometown fighter, and I feel like he's just gonna teach the young Chinese kid a lesson.
I'm swinging here, but I hope I'm right, guys. I hope I'm right. Because sometimes if I don't swing on RIZIN cards, I just get absolutely smoked because it's impossible to predict Japanese MMA.
Have you checked out our record? Our record is pretty good at picking underdogs and stuff. It's not bad.
It's good for picking RIZIN, but dude, I get like 80, 85% right on UFC, and I'm lucky to get like 60 to 70 in RIZIN.
Oh, I'm thinking over 50% is good, but I guess that's low. compared to, well, at least compared to UFC records. So
Yeah. Anyways, let's move on to the next one. We have the return of another Ueno brother. We have Kuto Ueno against Farpayap. Farpayap against Kuto Ueno. Kuto Ueno is 21 years of age and he's a K1 guy through and through. Oh, and he is fighting a Thai fighter who's 32 years of age. But man, like a lot of these Thai guys, like Petch aside in glory, who's just been able to figure it out. Like even Buakaw, right? They had to nerf the things that the Thais do that were able to beat the world, outside of just traditional Muay Thai. And I think that's the case here. I mean, this guy has fought kickboxing in bout. He lost and got schooled pretty handedly at the Rise World Series in 2024. If this was Small Gloves Muay Thai, if this was One Championship Friday fights, dude, I'm going Thailand all day, every day. And I know he trains out of Japan. He's been in Japan for a little while. Kuto Ueno, man, he's just too damn good. I'm picking him on this one. Beautiful step back lefts, great hooks, fast, even though he's skinny. Good kicks, good side kicks. Farpayap, a little chinny, a little older, slower. Yeah, does he probably have more experience? Sure, but it's probably in Muay Thai. So I'm going Kuto Ueno.
yeah, me too. I'm going with the K1 guy. I love my King K1. They had the best format in the entire kickboxing sport with their one night real deal Holyfield 8-man one night Grand Prix. I just absolutely love those. That's actually my favorite kickboxing is the King K1 Grand Prix. I just love it. And that was back when we actually were able to watch King K1. I mean, if they would just, dude, I love how you always give them shit about hey, we have American US dollars here ready for you to give you to watch these fights. Why don't you make it accessible to us? Come on. So hopefully they do that soon. I'm hoping that they get on because Feed said the number 4 or 5 at RIZIN, the guy who runs English Twitter that I was telling you guys about on the Focus Fights Otoko Matsuri preview. He was saying that he wants to make RIZIN.TV the Fight Pass of Asia, right? And to do that, he's got to add on different, promotions and stuff like Black Combat,
Grachin, Black Combat, Fighting Nexus, all those.
Yes, and like we're thinking Deep's going to be one of them for sure. And like I was saying, hey, why don't you add, since you guys got a good relationship with King K1 and Rise, and King K1 is really struggling right now with their broadcast. I think that'd be a perfect one to be on part of the Fight Pass of Asia.
There's just so much ego with the K1 brand now for those running it. It's like, would they lower themselves to an Asian fight? But you know what I mean? It's just like I don't know if you heard, they're on CSI now, Jay.
Who?
What the fuck, bro? The TV show? No,
I know, right? No, it's like, is that okay? But is that available in America or North America for us?
I did a double take because it looked like the CBS logo, and I was like, oh my god, they got to deal with CBS, like Invicta and K1. Are you kidding? And I was like, oh, for fuck's sakes, man, what the shit is this?
No, but anyway, it'd be cool if they got on the Rise, Fight Pass of Asia, RIZIN.TV. That'd totally make the subscription awesome. Worth it. So I think that's what their plan is.
Bro, it would save me like $100 a month. Freaking, I subscribe to Black Combat, Deep, Grachin, fucking, I don't even know the other ones. Like every Asian like MMA league that you need a YouTube membership for, I have. Like,
yeah, but you're the hardest of the hardcore. You're an incredible fan.
But if they were all in one spot, then it's like I'd pay $10-$20 a month versus freaking 100 on. Yeah, it's not quite 100, but like it gets up there, especially when I forget to cancel some when there's no fights. But anyways,
and it bring more eyes to their product. You know what I mean? If it was actually accessible, like easily accessible, not like how you have to jump through hoops right now to do it. Like to watch King K1, you gotta do like the Olympic jumping through hoops to get VPNs and do all this. Man, it's crazy. So
half the VPNs are blocked by Unex. Yeah, it's just,
I know, dude. It's crazy. So, but yeah, to get back on point here, I'm going with your pick. Going with the King K1 guy, and Cash has cool. He's got odds on him already. Got great footage there. So it's great to see that the Epic RIZIN has a good working relationship with King K1. So I'm hoping for them to get on the Fight Pass of Asia, RIZIN.TV in the near future.
All right, let's get to the next one. We got Gasanzade against Tatsuya Ando. Gasanzade, he's good, man. 11-1 as a pro. He's out of that whole Azerbaijani crew and gym as well. Entering his prime, 29 years of age, and he's on a 4-fight win streak right now. And he's honestly got a pretty good opponent in front of him. Like, Tatsuya Ando is a very, very good fighter. 14-4-1. Yes, he's getting up there in age, 35 years old, but he was on road to UFC last year, went to a decision, and had a really good performance in my opinion. He has 7 KO TKOs, 4 submissions, 3 decisions, 1-0-1 championship, 10-2-1 in Shuto, where he was winning belts left, right, and center. Before he was the champion when he left Shuto for one championship where he fought Ali Motammed, then went over to road to UFC and lost against Kanje Zhu. But he's fought some really good guys and won titles against really good guys throughout his entire career, ripping it up in Shuto. 4 submissions, 3 decisions, very well-rounded guy with some power. Slows down later in the fights, but he's getting up there in age and he's had a pretty long career now. Gasanzade, 4 wins in a row, man. And though he's not the most put it this way, he's either a wet blanket smother wrestler or he knocks you out, right? Whether it's gets you to the ground and pound, or drops you, falls you to the ground, finishes the fight. It's kind of one or the other with him, I find. 1-0 in RIZIN, 7-1 in AMC Fight Night. I mean, AMC Fight Night, it's okay, but he had one fight in Neza as well. That's why it was Neza versus AMC Fight Nights, where he beat a really good 7-2 opponent. Before then, he beat a 10-2 guy. His only loss was to a 6-2 guy when he was 7-0. What I like about him, man, is he tested himself, right? When he was 2-0, he went up against a 4-0 guy and won. Then when he was 5-0, fought a 5-2 guy, 6-2 guy when he was 7-0. You can't get necessarily the best guys in every single bout in these lower promotions, but it's not like he just stuck with the cans. He continued to fight better guys at his level during his development throughout his career. And I've been impressed. Now, has he been knocking out the lesser opponents? Yes. Has he been wet blanketing the better guys? Yes. So I'm hoping that his game has developed a little bit more, where he fights a little bit more aggressive, lets the kicks loose, employs some superior rule set, especially from some of those dominant positions. Let some of the knees goes, if he can get Ando down. I am going with Gasanzade in this one. He is the favorite at -300. Ando, a very good and respectable underdog at +200, because he's a good fighter. This is a good matchup. There's not really a clear I'm swinging on the underdog or this Chinese kid with one fucking fight and had to find Instagram footage on him. No, I'm going with the guy who I think is still getting better, or at least has the ability and room to still continue to develop his game, especially under this rule set. He's faced really good opponents, and I think his power and just on the feet and on the ground is going to carry him through this one.
Yeah, I totally agree. Gasanzade has looked fantastic, even though, like you're saying, it's kind of a lackluster decision fighter. But like you were saying, hopefully he knows the assignment now. That was my biggest pet peeve with him in his first fight. Like you were saying, it was a wet blanket type of a deal, and he wasn't utilizing superior rule set. He didn't know the assignment. So hopefully he's learned the assignment in this bout and he's able to utilize it, and we can see some ground and knees, like you were saying, and or at least 12-6 elbows are not only legal now in the UFC, they've been legal this whole time in the Epic RIZIN Fighting Federation superior rule set. So let's see some 12-6 elbows as well. Come on, if you're gonna take them down, don't just be a wet blanket. Let's see some action. Let's see some superior rule set. So, but yeah, I'm picking Gasanzade for the win here.
All right. Let's get to this next one. We have Taichi Nakajima against Keisuke Terashima, better known as Koro. I said them both there, so Drew's happy and Jay Krish is happy. All right. He's 21-5 as a pro, 36 years of age, the same age as Nakajima. But unlike Nakajima, he's losing. He's on a 3-fight losing streak right now. He got submitted in his last fight in deep. He lost a decision before that, and he got knocked out by Yuki Motoya before that. So just he's lost every single way you can freaking lose in the last 3 fights. His win was against a 7-6 guy that he submitted. I will say that Matsuzawa, the guy he fought, just looked like a fish out of water on the ground. And before then, he lost to an 18-5-1 respectable opponent 2 years ago in Ishizaka. Throughout his long career, he has 2 KO TKOs, 11 submissions, and 10 decisions, and he's lost 13 times via decision. So he's only actually been submitted 4 times and has only been knocked out 3 times. Nakajima, look, in RIZIN, I'm always worried about this guy because he gets good opponents in RIZIN, don't get me wrong, losing in his last 5 fights only to Sucho Kim and Vugar Karamov. Like, no shame in those losses, but it's like recently just like can't compete against the best in RIZIN. But every time he goes back to deep or Pancrase, he fucks shit up, man. Like, he dominated Ryo Tajima, who was 7-1 in Pancrase. He knocked Hiroyuki Oshiro, who's 10-5-3 guy. He knocked him the fuck out with a beautiful hook just a month ago in deep, man. Just a month ago in deep. Like, that's why he's coming back so quickly, because he didn't take any damage. The fight started in, I believe it was an early knockout. But yeah, so he's 3-2 in his last 5 and just looking a lot more fresh. And he's usually a decision guy, right? Like 10 decisions, 5 knockouts, 3 submissions. He's been knocked out twice, submitted once, and has lost 10 decisions as well. You know what's crazy about him and what I really respect is he actually like fought in ACB. Like, he went over to Russia between what was it, 2015 or 2016, where he fought like 5 times in the year in Russia, right? Like, that before ACB obviously merged and became ACA. That always was something I liked about him. And he has been working on his grappling recently as well, losing but competing in grappling competitions. And yeah, I believe former King of Pancrase, where he actually ripped it up there after ACB. We'll see if he continues to fight in deep between the RIZIN fights. He's getting up there in age, but yeah, I'm a fan of Nakajima, and I still think there's way more gas left in the tank, his tank, compared to Koro, who is probably going to get knocked out or beaten to a living death, as Ken Shamrock said.
Well, what do the official odds say for this one?
Yes, the official odds for this one. Nakajima is the -500 favorite.
Wow.
Yeah, and Koro's +300. And honestly, I don't think there's much value there for the +300. I
guess not. I mean,
Nakajima is the safe pick, and I'm not betting on this one because like I think I'm not swinging on Koro here. I don't have a lot of confidence that he wins this fight.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say, I mean, if you look at they're pretty much almost the same age according to Tapology, 36 years old. But one of the interesting things is that Tapology has Nakajima listed that his last fight was at 145 featherweight, and Koro's was at 135 bantamweight, and this bout is going to be at bantamweight. So Koro is used to this weight class, and Nakajima is going to have to cut down to this weight class.
And he is bigger. Like, he's a lot taller than him.
So is that weight cut down to a new weight class, or I don't know if he's fought there before, but in his most recent fight he was at featherweight.
No, that's a great point.
Is the weight cut down going to affect him at all? Because he is 36 years old. So when you get older, it's harder to cut weight, right? So
also, if you're American, apparently in Japan, it's hard to cut weight. Yeah. But he's Japanese, so he might not be lured by the freaking, the otoro and the katsu and the ramen, because he's been there, done that.
And he's already in the time zone, so he doesn't have to travel there during this weight cut and all that good stuff. So, I mean, but that's that. I mean, I was gonna sit there and take a chance on Koro, but after hearing those odds are that, -500 favorite, that's no. I don't know, man. That's not Koro's not live enough a dog for me, even with this weight cut angle. And also, he is Sika Izawa's husband, and Sika Izawa is fighting on. She's defending her title, actually, atomweight title, on Super RIZIN 4 next month, July 27th. So I was thinking, Koro might come into this one with a chip on his shoulder, because if he gets this win, he's at 500 on his career, right? And he gets to also, set the momentum for his wife in the next month, and he doesn't want to come in this fight. So I thought he was going to have like a chip on his shoulder for this one. But, I mean, if the odds makers are that lopsided, man, they must – there's no way I'm going to pick.
Dude, all you have to do, J Wolf, is watch their last 2 fights each, and it's literally, you want to see what I wrote in my notes? I wrote in my notes, what the fuck is this, man? KO, next.
Yes, that's awesome.
I literally, Koro's looked terrible in his last fight. Don't think he gets the sub. Complete opposite for Nakajima. Could win a decision, but regardless, he does more damage. That's literally word for word what I wrote. I looked at this place. What the fuck is this, man? I didn't remember writing that.
That's fucking hilarious, bro. That's awesome. So yeah, I'm picking Nakajima just like you. So cash that. Let's go.
All right, let's get to the only women's fight on this card. And by the way, I have to give a big shout out to Deep Jewels. They had a card a few weeks ago. It was better than the men's card. The men,
really?
It was a letdown. Wow. Other than that stomp finish, that was the only like superior rule set we saw on the men's side. That was the only look. There were a few good knockouts. Every deep card's good, but the Jewels card or what was it? 6 finishes out of the 8 fights, and the 2 fights that didn't have finishes were absolute, dude. Like, I thought they were going to kill each other. No, dude. Like, it was insane. Like, I put it this way: I had a friend, a subscriber on the channel. Shout out to D__D. He's a member of the channel as well. And I was like, man, you got to stay up for deep. You got to buy like the membership. And he did. He spent like the $20. And he's like, all right, I can't wait. And he's like, what the fuck? It's an all women's card. You're going to make me watch an all women. I was like, dude, shut up and just watch. And by the end of it, he's like, that was fucking awesome. I was like, I told you.
Yes.
So shout out to Deep Jewels, man. Shout out to Deep Jewels. I think as much as I love Invicta and support Invicta, dude, Deep Jewels is so far ahead entertainment wise. Like, it's not skill wise, but just entertainment wise. And it's like hour and a half cards, 8 fights, mostly finishes. These girls come to freaking rip each other's heads off, man.
And do they allow the superior rule set?
Unfortunately, not. Only on the deep like impact cards that have like women. But hopefully soon. Like, I will continue to lobby. I know some of these girls do want to kick each other in the face, and some of them just do, and the refs are just like smoking in the corner. So there's that one ref. I got to find out his name. I don't know if he's 30 or 50. You know? And he's always just like, I swear he's hacking a dart at the corner of the cage. But anyways, this time he'll be drinking some Sapporo.
Between these two girls, the superior rule set is allowed.
Yes.
One.
Yes. I'll throw it to you because I've been starting these off. Like, who do you got here? We got Haruka Hasegawa Salt against Machi Fukuda, who since suffering her first 2 losses in a row has bounced back incredibly.
Yeah, and she is really lobbying hard to get the Epic Rising Fighting Federation to open a strawweight division, which, as you know from the UFC and the rest of the world, that's one of the most popular women's divisions in the sport. Bunch of fighters, and I think with a good performance here, we very well could see, but probably by the end of this year or next year, a strawweight division open in the Epic Rising, because they got to expand their divisions. They're growing rapidly, and they want to get people to subscribe to Rising.tv, right? So they're gonna have to expand eventually.
Well, if they do become that, like, the Fight Pass of Asia, man, there will be so many more. Like, Deep will be able, assuming they pay Deep accordingly, to move their membership stuff to there, right? Because Deep makes some money off their YouTube channel.
But they'll make even more on the Fight.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Assuming they're making more money, like, they can even start ramping up the cards a little bit, and like basically like the Deep Jewels girls will just have opportunities to like go up and down. Like, if there's a big Rising card, sure, here's a roster that you can use for a whole division, and it basically will just kind of act as like a feeder league, but also like a minor league where you can go back and fight in between the big Rising cards. Which is 100%. What is going on, which is essentially what's going on right now, but I feel like it will ramp up, especially for the women, if this happens.
100%. You're so correct, Aisha. That is absolutely exactly what would happen, and it would be sensational. And Machi, I feel like she's the key. I mean, it doesn't all hinge on this performance here, but with the good performance here, she'll get on the mic afterwards and go, hey, I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again right now. Give me a strawweight division, the Epic Rising Fighting Federation.
Or she'll just say, Queen Reina, you're dead. I'm coming for your head, bitch.
But hey, Striker Queen Reina, she's a full weight class.
I know she's too big. But Fukuda's what, 21, 22?
Yeah, she's a young gun.
And she's jacked, dude. She could put on some muscle and fight and take Reina's crown. No, she ain't. She ain't.
But there's also, Invicta, you brought them up earlier. They have a fantastic strawweight division, Combate Global as well. I mean, there's a lot of good, just besides Deep, there's a lot of good female organizations out there, or at least organizations that does female fights out there. And they could easily, I think they could easily open up a strawweight division.
Yeah. And bring some of those girls over.
For both the women and the men. Mr. Ohio, Mike, Mr. Ohio on the Focus Fights preview was saying that they should also open up a men's strawweight division because there's a lot of Japanese fighters and Southeast Asia fighters that are strawweights that would be a good, and also since it's a superior rule set, it wouldn't be like, that's what a criticism of the lighter weight divisions are, is that, there's not enough power down there to get finishes and stuff. But with a superior rule set, it could be. And same thing with these women fights. That's why I asked you if the Deep Jewels has a superior rule set, because that obviously it makes fights even more exciting, but especially women's fights. There's a higher, like the joke that I always love joking with one of our bros in the RIZIN Discord, Just Bleed fan, is that, you remember old Pastor 57 movie, Wesley Snipes, where he goes, always bet on black, right? And what the joke is with the women's fights is always bet on the decision. But see, under the superior rule set, it's different. It's different. It brings the action more. And Machi has shown she knows the assignment. She knows how to throw ground and knees and all that good stuff. So, and she's a young gun, and she's
wicked grappler. Wicked grappler too. She got arm triangle choke and heel hold. Like who the fuck goes for the Tommy toe hold these days? And she's young too. Like that's an old freaking MMA move, man.
Yeah, no, she's a good fighter, and that's what I'm hoping with a good performance here. She's gonna spearhead a new division, the Epic RIZIN strawweight female division, and that'd be fantastic, I think. But her opponent is she's the Pancrase champion right now.
The freaking 500 Salt Bay Pancrase champion right now.
Yeah,
Jeez.
That's right. Yeah, so she knows how to fight.
She beat a good opponent too, which is crazy, man. I didn't give her a chance, and Emi Fujino just did not look good in that fight.
That's right. Yeah, and that's because Hasegawa made her not look good in that fight, right? She fought a good fight and won the title, and just.
She also beat a chick who was 6-1 in 2023 to win the title, named Karen.
Oh, nice.
Dude, no, straight up, dude. Karen.
Nice.
Oh, that's hilarious.
10-2 fighter too, so she's not.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. And she fought Oshima in RIZIN, and she lost that one still. But like, she's fought she fought Karen twice in a row, bro. She beat her twice in a row.
Yeah, so she's fighting some good fighters. So she's got good experience with her, and that's probably why they matched them up right here.
And she's from Sapporo as well.
Oh, nice. So she's a hometown fighter right here, and but Machi is definitely the rising star, the young gun rising star. They want to push, and they're hoping wins this bout right here. But this is not a pushover opponent, is what I'm trying to say.
It's kind of hidden in her record. Because you look at her record, Salt is 5-5, right? 2 wins, 3 losses in her last 5 fights. But you look at the level of competition that she's been fighting. You look at some of the girls, like I said, that she's beaten. Like, she has the tools. She is a lot older though, 34 years of age. She is quite a bit taller than Fukuda. Tapology says 6 freaking inches. So that's something. But at the end of the day, I think Fukuda is gonna take her down and submit this lanky ass Salt Bay.
Well, this could be another situation like what they did with Saku Jr., where they're matching up Machi, the rising up and coming young gun fighter, with a veteran. But she doesn't have the veteran record, right? But she's got the experience. So they want to see what Machi can do here. And I'm curious, what do the official odds say about this one?
So this one, Machi Fukuda is -500.
Wow, I'm surprised if that's big of a lopsided. Man, okay, well then I'm definitely picking Machi then.
Yeah, I think Machi submits her, to be honest. Machi 2-0 in RIZIN, 5-2 in Deep Jewels, 4 submissions, 1 KO TKO, 2 decisions. She's never been submitted. She's never been knocked out. But she lost to Siwoo Park and Arisa Matsuda, an 11-5 gal and a 3-0 gal. Split decision loss, right? So it's like, that's tough. 2 in a row, too. Suffering your first loss and getting your second one in a row. Both split decisions. So she just had to make some minor tweaks. Came back and again didn't beat the best competition, but beat a 2-5 gal. Took her out pretty quickly. Took out a 5-5 Thai gal. That was almost too easy. But you know what? Seo Young Park put on a pretty good fight, and that fight told me that Machi has been working on her hands and her boxing as well. Because her wrestling and jiu-jitsu is her general grappling is actually pretty good. So yeah, I mean, I feel like we spent way too much time on this one. Fukuda's
Okay,
gonna
let's move on.
Fukuda's gonna win this.
Machi for the win. She opens and gets on the mic afterwards and calls for the strawweight division to be open and right.
Oh my god, dude! I sometimes surprise myself with these notes. I wrote Salt Bay about to be cooked. Steak spice. That's what I wrote.
Nice.
Oh, what else I wrote here? Yeah, pretty much everything we said. Good competition, but yeah, Machi just has looked great since resetting after her losses. All right, next fight. Oh my god, we got our freak show fight. We need at least one freak show fight of the card, ladies and gentlemen. We got one here, and RIZIN and Sina, Karimian, man. Apparently they're doing business, and they're doing business more than just like 1 or 2 fights here and there, because he is here to stay, and this is not kickboxing. This is not boxing. This is a mixed martial arts. And you said it, throwing guys to the fire. RIZIN doesn't care, man. RIZIN doesn't care. I mean, the UFC tried to give CM Punk some easy opponents. They're not giving Cena an easy opponent at all, in my opinion. Now, are they giving him a big belly Roy Nelson fatty? Absolutely. But he's a pretty good big belly Roy Nelson looking fatty here.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing, right?
Oh, absolutely. Hidetaka Arato, man. The Kaizu killer. 11-1 as a pro. 4-1 in his last 5 fights. And like, has he been beating the best guys? No. But like, it's heavyweight. And even in the UFC, heavyweight is trash right now. So like, if you're just getting wins at heavyweight, you're doing better than the guys who you're beating, right? So there you go. 7 KO TKOs, 4 decisions. And you know what? I was actually excited to see that he actually has decisions, because it means that like, for a big boy, and like you know who the fighter is, you've seen him before, but for those who don't, I mean, look at the guy. The fact that he has some cardio gives me more confidence in him than I already had. 7 knockouts though. 7 knockouts in his, and he has 4 decisions. 1-0 in RIZIN. He's the king of Grotchen. 8-0 in Grotchen. And he fought for actually the Hexagon MMA title recently against a fighter who is on this card, who's fighting in the heavyweight Grand Prix. And he lost a TKO to him. And we actually have that highlight that we're going to show later in the show. Has he beaten anybody of note? No. Has he beaten guys above 500 records? Yes, but they were like 2-0 type of guys. But man, he's grinded out wins against other fat boys, and when he lands clean, he knocks you out. And Sina, we know he's like one of the best Iranian kickboxers to do it. He dominated for a long time, but he's getting up there in age, 37 years of age. I should say though, Arato's also 37 years of age, but 37 years of age, never done MMA before. So like, could he crack Arato on the entry with a hook, a knee, a kick? Absolutely. If he gets taken down, bro, he ain't getting back up till the next round. That big, like, you know how Kimbo Slice lost to Roy Nelson on The Ultimate Fighter? That is what Arato is going to fucking side control, belly to the chest, and just elbows to his face, or just stay there. The one saving grace is that this is RIZIN, and under superior rule set and just Japanese MMA in general, is they separate fighters quicker than most. So I think that's Sina's saving grace, is just being let back up to his feet. But no, I got Arato winning this one, and he is the favorite, but it's a slight favorite at -150. So if you're betting on this, honestly, throw something on Sina for the knockout. But,
wow, Sina is that close in the odds?
Yeah, everyone has Sina knocking this big boy out, but they didn't watch tape on the legend that is Arato, baby.
That's intriguing. I did not know the odds were going to be that close. I thought they would definitely be way heavier in favor of Kaiju Killer, because he's got the MMA experience, and like you said, Sina does. This is his first fight in MMA, but this is highly anticipated. I'm really excited for this one. like I said, this is a great freak show fight, quote unquote. I mean, but this is actually Cena's finally fighting against someone, a fellow heavyweight, right? So it's gonna be, man, it's gonna be interesting to see how Cena does in mixed martial arts, and Kaiju Killer, if he takes him down, you're absolutely right. He can't just sit there and wet blanket him. He's got to stay busy. Got to utilize some knees, some 12 to 6 elbows, grounded knees, 12 to 6 elbows, superior rule set stuff. Otherwise, he's going to get stood up, especially for an action, fan favorite fighter like Cena. So, but that's interesting. The odds are so close. I wonder if people, is there any kind of, like, I don't even know who he's been training with. I wonder if he's been training at a good gym, or there's some kind of.
He's part of Black Rose. He's been training with Black Rose.
Okay, yeah. No, that's a good gym. That's one of the hottest gyms in Japan right now. So he's definitely.
I mean, it is, but like they're really not getting. They're not getting a lot of wins recently.
But it's.
But hey, at least he's at an MMA gym. At least he's at an MMA gym.
Yeah, but it's a popular gym. Let's put it that way. Like popular with the fans because of Rain and the bare knuckle guy. Gosh, I don't want to say it's Nishitani, but anyways, it's a popular gym right now, and that's good that Cena's there. So it's gonna be interesting to see what he can do, and if he's got any kind of takedown defense, he definitely has the striking advantage because he's a King K1 champion,
yeah. Right? I see Arato throwing the overhand to go for the level chains and just blob himself on him.
He's gonna use the blob technique. Nice. I love it.
The blob technique. All right, let's get to the next one. We got Joji Goto against Jinosuke Kashimura. Honestly, man, this one is a certified fucking banger. I am so stoked for this one. I think this is gonna be potentially the coming out party, the official coming out party for Kashimura. Now, he is 8-4 as a pro, but he's on a 3-fight win streak, 3-2 in his last 5 fights. He's only 23 years of age, 0 knockouts, and yes, he's been knocked out twice. I'm hoping that his hands are getting a little bit better. I'm hoping that he's actually just been like in the gym working on his striking, because that's his only blemish. And he's still young. He's still new to the mixed martial arts game because he is a stupid good grappler. He is nasty. 8 submissions, 8 wins. He's lost twice via decision just because like he took more damage, because he just wasn't as menacing, because he's just always fetching the submission. He's good at getting in the back of his opponents as well. 4-2 in deep, 3-1 in pancrase. And the last 3 guys he beat, I would say one was meh, one was bad, one was actually really good, but he submitted all 3 of them. Rear naked choke 2 in a row, or rear naked choke all 3 in a row, if I'm not mistaken. And he, like I said, he just loves the rear naked choke, man. I'm looking at all his submissions right now. Since 2022, all of his wins have been rear naked chokes. Since 2022, all of his wins have been rear naked chokes. So he is an Aljo magnet if he can get the back. And Joji Goto, a lot more well-rounded, a lot more experienced, 29 years of age, a Sapporo guy as well. 17-8-1, also 3-2 in his last 5. He won his last fight against Daiki Gojima in pancrase. He knocked him out just a couple months ago. Before them was on a 2-fight losing streak. He's got 9 knockouts, 4 submissions, and 4 decisions. So we got a well-rounded guy who's a better striker against a prospect who has been a one-trick pony, but I'm banking on being able to at least just like defend enough to not get knocked out to find your entry, right? Because you can develop MMA striking to still help get to the positions you need to get to as a grappler, but just like, it's almost like working footwork and defense, and just like tape study and movement versus like the actual like punching the bag, right? 4 submissions, 4 decisions as well. So he's definitely capable on the ground. 0-1 in 1 championship, 2-0 in RIZIN. Lost to Mando Gutierrez in deep split decision. Mando Gutierrez fought in the North American regional scene. He was an Ultimate Fighter alumni. I was impressed. I thought Mando was going to walk through him, and he actually held his own, man. Very close, razor close split decision. And yeah, and he's just faced better opponents. So I am going to go Joji Goto on this one.
Wow, nice. What do the official odds say?
The official odds for this one, this one's a pick'em. It's -120 a piece.
Wow, Nice.
Yeah, so
That's
I am going with him here. I'm just trusting that quite frankly that he
has a better striking.
that is the better striking. And you know what? I actually like I went back and forth on this one so much that like I crossed out so many times in my notes. So yeah, I'm going with Joji Goto. I know he's not as elite as a grappler, but he did have 2 freaking twister submissions in a row. Mind you,
Yes.
against well, you know what? Like Trent Gridham and freaking Hibino are good fighters. Like
By Twister. Back
Twister
to
too.
back.
It's a tough. It's a crazy technical and hard submission to employ. So, like I said, I know how good Kashimura is on the ground. I know how dangerous he is. And again, I wrote it out here. I was going to make my official pick him, but upon going through it one more time with you here, I'm like, no, I'm going with the guy who just has less about experience and a guy who has more tools in his tool belt and who has faced grapplers before. So yeah, we're going Goto here. I'm interested to see if he closes as the underdog. Because if so, let's go, baby.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I am very surprised that the fight's a pick 'em fight and even like that. That's fantastic here. I think it's going to be a grappler's delight. I think both these guys have excellent grappling, and Mr. Ohio Mike on the Focus Fights preview was saying he's super pumped to see Kashimura debut in the Epic RIZIN here. And but what's interesting about it, according to Tapology, his latest weight was 152 pounds. So he's doing a big weight cut down now to bantamweight. Is that going to affect him at all? Is he going to be it's probably going to make him the bigger, stockier fighter, right? But is that weight cut going to drain him at all? But again, look at it. He's a young gun, only 23 years old, and when you're young, you can make those weight cuts a lot easier than when you're older. So, but man, I'm just looking forward to seeing this one. This is one of the this is, like I said, this is highly anticipated bout here. I love hearing the odds are so close, and I'm anticipating a grappler's delight. And I'm going with, you know what? I was going to go with Kashimura, but you've convinced me. I'm going with Mr. Twister, Joji Goto on this one.
You know what? It's just one of those things where it's like the talent is there, and Kashimura very well could catch him, very well could win this fight. It's just like I've seen Goto even recently beat better competition, and it's just like that is until Kashimura does it. And this is a tough first test in RIZIN. Then I'll be a little bit more confident and be like, okay, well, he did it against these guys. This is his big step up. And,
Yes.
I just need to see it to believe it, even though I do think he's a sick prospect. And I think RIZIN will keep him, even if he loses.
Yes, 100%. I agree with you. And also, Joji Goto is only 29 years old.
Yeah,
so
he's not old either, right? He's
exactly. He's in his prime.
A little bit more
He knows
seasoned.
how to grapple. He's got better striking as of right now, right? And because Kashimura is only 23 years old, so he's got plenty of time to grow. So I just think that Joji Goto, it's going to be his time. And you convinced me with this show right here. I was going to pick Kashimura because I thought he was going to be the young gun, the bigger fighter, all that good stuff, and he has also excellent grappling as well. So I was going to pick him, but no, talking with you now on this fantastic City Life Project podcast, I'm going with Joji Goto all the way in a grappler's delay.
Let's go. All right. Before intermission, we got one more. We got the heavyweights. This fight obviously wasn't able to take place on
Otoko Matsuri.
Yes, on the Okoto Matsuri card. But they rebooked it. And so the heavyweight Grand Prix continues where, if we get a quick knockout in this one, which let's be honest, we highly anticipate there to be one here. I don't think the heavyweight Grand Prix was as much of a dud if this fight turns out, because I would say obviously 1 out of the 3 fights was good on the last one. The first round with the Predator was good, but yeah, he really faded after that. But anyways, first round was good. So maybe I'll say like 1.5 fights out of the 3 were good.
Yeah, the Augusto fight was very disappointing because Augusto was coming in from the Pitbull Brothers gym.
Yeah, he looked awful.
Bangers in the past.
Awful, man. I've watched every single one of his LFA fights, and he looked trash. Like I was I don't know.
You know what I was thinking it was?
He looked like Patchy Mix.
They say they got the octagon jitters when they make their UFC debut. That the RIZIN card was the biggest stage that he had fought on, and bigger than the Bellator fights, right? So I'm wondering if it was big stage jitters.
I hope he gets starched in the next round.
So yeah, let's see how he does in the next round. But no, you're absolutely correct. Everybody was dumping on the heavyweight Grand Prix, and I was trying to tell them, you're 100% correct, Aisha. I was like, this fight is it was arguably the premier bout here. Soldatkin is arguably the premier fighter of the heavyweight Grand Prix. Because remember, he was from Dingleberry Dana's Tuesday Night Contender Series, and he should have won that bout.
He won. No, he won. He won in our hearts. Superior rule set. You win automatically.
Because he got disqualified for an illegal knee under the pussified UFC rule set.
God, and it was a good like start to the fight too, man.
Yeah. So he should have won that, and he should be in the UFC right now. He's a UFC level fighter in my book, and we already know he knows the assignment, because that's the only reason why he's not in the UFC right now, because he threw an illegal knee in the UFC pussified rule set, but it's perfectly 100% legal on the Epic RIZIN Fighting Federation's superior rule set. So I'm really looking forward to this one, and if it's awesome, I can't wait to make all the haters eat crow. It's gonna be so fun trolling them. And you're absolutely right, Aisha. This is one of my most anticipated bouts on the card. That's why I mean, do you have more of an intro to go? I didn't mean to cut you off there on your intro.
It is all good. It is all good. I was just gonna highlight that Soldatkin. Yeah, he's a legit heavyweight prospect worldwide right now. 14-5 as a pro, 3-2 in his last 5, but again, 1 with the asterisk. Again, I really encourage everyone to go watch that Dana White Contender Series fight. It was awesome. And it wasn't like Soldatkin was like absolutely beating the piss out of him throughout the whole fight. Like, it was there was a good flow to the fight. I do think he was winning, which is what made it so devastating, but it was a good fight. He went back on the regional scene after that and got a win against 11-6-1 guy. He knocked him the fuck out. He's out of Germany. Like I said, 5 losses, 9 KO TKO wins, 3 submissions, 2 decisions, and obviously the 1 disqualification. But he's fought all around the world in a bunch of good promotions. Now, primarily in Open Fighting Championship, which is a very good Russian promotion, despite all the fuckery and fan, brawls and chairs being thrown at the coaches and all that crazy Russian shit. It's actually a pretty good promotion. I would say it's up there with MMA series. And he also fought in Federation of MMA Samara. J-Wolf, I watch a lot of MMA. I have never heard of this league before. I don't even know.
That makes 2 of us.
I've watched Muradov in the freaking YMCA somewhere in the Middle Eastern desert. But I don't know what this is. Anyways, he fought in RCC as well, a kickboxing match after his Dana White Contender Series unfortunate loss, and before then was on an insane win streak. What is it? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 fight win streak before losing to Benjamin Sehic in Eris, and that result was overturned because of just a little PED action. But he did win that fight too, so he would have had a 12 fight win streak if his fight in Eris turned out to be a win. So it's crazy that like result overturned and then an illegal knee, 2 losses in a row where he was performing in the fight. So he's fought in Eris, he's fought in RCC, he's fought in Open Fighting Champion. Those are the notable ones. He also went 5-0 as an amateur as well, winning amateur tournaments. So his opponent, no slouch, man, no slouch. The former, and I think maybe even current Hex champ, Prince Aounallah, who is His Majesty Aounallah, who is 20-12 as a pro, 4-1 in his last 5 fights on a 2-fight win streak, and he's really good as well. 10 knockouts, 4 submissions, 6 decisions. Like, both of these heavyweights are well-rounded with knockout power, which is what I love. 0-1 in KSW. He got fucking knocked out in KSW. He got straight, like, I remember my chat was full of French people and they're like, he's got this, boom, straight right, knocked him out. And they're like, tabarnak. Anyways, 4-3 in 100% fight, 5-0. He's undefeated in Hexagon, and he's 1-2 in Night of Warriors. Get no idea what that is. Yeah, so he is the Hexagon champion right now, and he's defended the belt 3 times, man, against a 5-0 guy, a 10-0 guy, and a 10-3 guy. He won the belt against a 6-2 guy. So he has faced in like really good competition. He also fought in UAE Warriors, where he beat a 5-2 guy as well. So a lot of experience and recently on a good run in Hexagon against really good opponents. And just for those who are unfamiliar with these big boys, check out some of these clips and some of these highlights, these savage highlights of both of them.
So many punches to buy.
Was that the Kaiju killer he just took out?
Yeah, that's Arato. That's Arato they took out there.
Wow. Impressive.
Yeah, here's a little bit more. Grueling ground and pound, man.
So this is not a walkover. This is not a pushover for Soldatkin. Like this ain't no cakewalk for him.
No, I think if Prince can get in the top position, he like again, Soldatkin is not an easy guy to control, but like he's dangerous. But this is what makes Soldatkin so dangerous. If you guys weren't excited about the final, opening round fight of the heavyweight Grand Prix, I hope you are now.
Oh yeah. Oh, they have to be. I mean, this is going to make all the haters and the naysayers of the heavyweight Grand Prix. They're going to have to eat crow here, and it's going to be this one. I was thinking that Aounallah was going to be a push. I had no idea until I just saw that footage, that because they were talking about like he was just going to be some cakewalk for him. Like some pushover on the Focus Fights preview. I had no idea he had that good of ground and pound, and that was a savage. Both of those were a savage elbow TKOs, especially the one of Kaiju Killer. That was fantastic form on those grounded elbows. So I mean, and now imagine what he's going to be able to do with 12-6 elbows, and like I was saying, 12-6 elbows and grounded knees and all the good superior rule set. I mean,
what do you think the odds are?
You know what? After seeing that footage, I'm going to say they're closer than what I thought they were going to be. I'm going to say that Aounallah is going to be the slight underdog.
Yep.
And I got to say, I know Soldatkin's got to be the favorite, just based on his Dingleberry Dana White Contender Series performance alone. So, what are the official odds say?
You're bang on. Aounallah is plus 155 and Soldatkin's minus 220. So honestly,
wow, nice.
I'm picking Soldatkin to win. I'm locking it in. But I'm way more confident as Aounallah as an underdog than Koro, for example.
Yeah, 100%. Especially after that fantastic footage that you just aired right there. That was
two separate wins, right? Two separate wins.
Yeah, but still, he looked like, especially that one of the Kaiju Killer. Those are the form on those grounded elbows was fantastic, dude. I was already hyped for this bout. Now my hype level is even more on this one. This is incredible. I mean, I'm really looking forward to this one because, dude, Soldatkin to me was the premier fighter in this heavyweight Grand Prix, and now because of the injury to the previous opponent at Toko Matsuri, they went and got him a better opponent now, in my opinion, after seeing that footage. So this is incredible. I'm really excited for this bout, and yeah, I got Soldatkin going all the way to the finals. I'm hoping for the finals to be Ueno versus Soldatkin. I think that would be the best for Japan. And then, of course, remember, we got also the winner of this heavyweight Grand Prix is going to face Ryan Bader at New Year's Eve. Yes. And Ryan Bader's going to be fresh off of he's in the Smashing Machine movie with The Rock. That's coming out in October, late October. So there's going to be plenty of hype from that movie into the New Year's Eve. I mean,
you know, RIZIN's bringing Mark Kerr cage side or ringside New Year's Eve, like 100%.
Yeah, and you see he just got inducted to the UFC Hall of Fame,
which is awesome.
at UFC 316,
which is awesome.
And he was there at UFC. So you're absolutely correct.
Can I just say he looked amazing for everything that man has gone through? He looked healthy, and I was like, wow, I'm just so happy that he's good in life, right?
Absolutely. You know, they're going to have, I bet you anything, You're absolutely right. They're going to have Mark Kerr there. They're going to have Mark Coleman there as well, because that's who Ryan Bader portrays in the Smash Machine movie is Mark Coleman. And I'm just wondering if he's going to be able to channel his inner Mark Coleman and throw some grounded knees. But the winner of this heavyweight Grand Prix is going to be facing Ryan Bader. And to me, the favorite is Soldatkin. And this is, to me, the premier fight of at least the quarterfinals of this heavyweight Grand Prix.
I think the winner is coming out of this fight, to be honest.
I 100% agree with you. And that's fantastic to hear the odds are so close. It just makes this fight, and after seeing that footage, like I was saying, man, I was already really high on this fight, and now it's to the next level. I'm so excited for this one. I just can't wait for it. It's going to be freaking awesome. And I'm hoping for a first or second round finish. But even if it goes a distance, I don't think I'm going to be disappointed because, after seeing that footage from Aounallah, like, the guy knows how to fight, and you said he's on a good little win streak right now. He's a hexagon champion.
He just defended his belt 3 times.
That is music to my ears. And the odds makers, I can't, only a plus 100 something underdog. That is fantastic against a fighter like Soldatkin, an obvious UFC level fighter who should be in the UFC right now, if not for their pussified UFC rule set. So it's just. Dude, this is one of the fights to watch on the card. I'm super excited, even more so now, thanks to you and the City Life Project.
It's a great fight. Awesome. I wouldn't go as far as to say it's a coin flip because Soldatkin does have the size also. The Frenchie doesn't come in at like 265 or like 257. He comes in at like 230, 245.
Yeah, it says 241 on Tapology.
Yeah, so
it does say his reach. He has a 2-inch reach on him.
Oh yeah, like he is a heavyweight through and through. But I'm just saying, like, Soldatkin is a beast. So it might be hard for him to be controlled on the ground. And Soldatkin, probably can get away with a few more roids in RIZIN than he can in whatever league or Eris in freaking France where he pissed hot in. Can use the superior rule set, which he wasn't able to do in the UFC. He's durable, and I think he's overall why I'm picking him is because he's fought bigger and scarier guys. And whoever goes down first is obviously going to win this one, but I think the size difference is going to be a factor. And I just think Soldatkin, like, it doesn't matter who's in front of him. He's going to walk you down. He's going to kick the torso. And I think even if he's on his back and His Majesty is doing what he does, trying to throw elbows or whatever, I just feel like Soldatkin is so fucking strong that like he won't be controlled as much as some of the other guys that have been out-controlled in Hex by the champs. So I'm going Soldatkin, but I love how I love the odds in this one, and I love how we just got a better fight in this heavyweight Grand Prix
100%.
As a result of the injury.
You are 100% correct. And also, speaking of the sauce and the gear and stuff, after he got busted for it was like it wasn't like actual like horse steroids or something like Arnold or somebody was shooting up with, right? It was like some like minor one. And then he also to be on par afterwards he went to the Dana White Contender Series, right?
Yeah.
Don't you have to be in the testing pool to even be on that show, or is it after you win that show then you get in the testing pool?
Yeah, I don't think so, because there's some guys too who come like short notice right off of Fury or Cage Fury FC, and it's like, bro, there's no way you would piss through the cup.
Well, also we got to remember UFC also dumped USADA. USADA is no longer regulating UFC right now.
They got their own regulations, like RIZIN has their selective regulations. Like, we'll test you and you and you, but you move along.
Yeah, it's their own in-house testing. Come on.
If John Jones ever fights Aspinall, John Jones will be allowed to juice and Aspinall will get tested.
Yeah, absolutely, dude.
Speaking of the juice, though, by the way, my boy Phil DeFree, Tom Aspinall's training partner, and in my opinion, the greatest heavyweight on the planet right now. He may need some of that juice to take out Rorschach in Poland, because my God, that's a hell of a title defense.
Let's keep it rolling for you. So I know you got to hit the hay here.
I really hope this next one is entertaining, but I'm kind of suspect as to why RIZIN made this next matchup the one coming out of intermission, where everyone's like, Everyone in North America, anyways, is falling asleep a little bit, and then we come out of intermission wanting an absolute banger, and we get Viktor Kolesnik, the wet blanket himself, against Suzuki. Now, can Suzuki lift the crowd into a cheer here and be the one to stop the Russian grappler? He's good. He's good, man. Keisuke Sasu is 14-3-1 as a pro, 4-1 in his last 5 on a 3-fight win streak, and he has been ripping it up in Shuto, and he's only 30 years of age. 5 KO TKOs, 4 submissions, 5 decisions, so he's pretty well-rounded. This is the thing. He's never lost via decision. How does Viktor win all his fights? Goddamn decision. His recent fights, anyways, decision. He has been knocked out twice, and he's lost once via submission. 12-1-1 in Shuto, and he's just been a road to UFC darling. He's been on the show he's had 3 fights on road to UFC. He has defended the Shuto belt 3 times now, and in between there, fought in a non-title fight where he beat a 5-1 guy. So he has been beating really good opponents. He's been fighting really good opponents. I mean, he lost to Yiza on road to UFC, and no shame in that. Yiza's really good, and Sangwon Kim as well, who's really good, right? His recent losses have only been to road to UFC guys. His last loss before that, J-Wolf, was in 2016. So he's a solid, well-rounded mixed martial artist who's got good grappling and I would say better hands. Can he withstand? Can he make the most of his opportunities to do damage on Kolesnik? That is the question, because Kolesnik's 25-4-1 on a wicked win streak right now. And does he have finishes? Yes, he's got 7 knockouts and 8 submissions. He's never been submitted. But them 10 decisions are what I feel like we're thinking about him right now. We're remembering him of right now. And maybe that's unfair, because in 2023, he did have a awesome finish attacking the legs of Kishimoto. Just calf kick upon calf kick upon calf kick until Kishimoto was just like, no mas, dude. No mas. I'm done. Fuck this. I want to walk at least in a week. But then after that, the last Landmark show, the Landmark 6 show in Nagoya, he just smothered Ryo Takagi. And then after that against Nakahara, he just smothered Nakahara. Cavalcante at MMA Series smothered Cavalcante. To win the championship at Open Fighting Championship, okay, like got some ground and pound in the first round. That's what I want to see, man. When he was in MMA Series, Open Fighting Championship, those are where the knockouts, those are where the ground and pound came from. And dude, he went to war against Nate Landwehr as well in M1, and he actually snatched Nate Landwehr's M1 title before going to RCC, beating Thiago Silva in RCC back in 2019. And he is currently on a 8-fight win streak right now. But honestly, the Nakahara performance, it didn't do much for me. Like the Korean who just beat Nakahara, now that was a fucking performance, right? Was able to withstand the grappling, was arguably losing the fight, and then finished it, right? Whereas Kolesnik was just like, man, you're doing what Nakahara does to guys, and it ain't pretty. It's working, it's effective, but it ain't pretty. So, I really want Suzuki to win, but what did
the official odds say?
Dude, Kolesnik's -400.
Wow, that much? Wow.
Yeah, which is why I think Suzuki is a good underdog at +250. So I think I'm actually going to drop a little sum, maybe like $5. I think I'll probably drop $5 on Suzuki, because he could be the one to finish him, because he's good. Like he doesn't have many like glaring holes, right? So I said could be the best of a unanimous decision, or could be whoever does the most damage and it goes to a unanimous decision. Sasu also could be one of the better underdogs on this card, right? He's dangerous. He can finish you, but probably Kolesnik ends up winning the decision. Or if we see the old Kolesnik come back, get the ground and pound finish. But I'm picking Kolesnik to win. It's either going to be a fun upset or it's going to be a boring ass Viktor Kolesnik fight in RIZIN.
Well, I have the opposite of, well, I agree with you, but at the same time, I disagree on because this is one of my most anticipated fights of the card because I believe this is one of the number one contender bouts. The main event was announced as the actual number one contender bout. Whoever wins that is probably fighting Shadow next for the title, possibly at Super RIZIN 4. So, but if that bout in the main event, if one of those fighters shits the bed, gets injured, has a boring, lackluster performance, and just doesn't, it takes too much damage, I believe that Kolesnik and Sasu, this is like the reserve number one contender bout and I believe that I think that's going to light a fire under Kolesnik's, and Sasu's, but to get them to really bring it to say, hey, you know what? If they put on a better performance than the main event, hey, why don't you plug me into that title fight instead? Because my performance was better at Landmark 11. So I think that's going to really, I really am highly anticipating this. But also, you got to remember, for Kolesnik's last bout, or his last couple bouts, where he was cutting weight down. He used to fight at 155, and then he cut down now to featherweight. So maybe that's affected his, performance, where he was just wanting to get through the fight and get grind out a decision instead of really go for it and try to get the finish.
Yeah, well, it's because Kolesnik, he doesn't. Sorry, I was mispronouncing his name before because the napitis is creeping in. But yeah, Kolesnik, like he does have decent striking, right? Like his low kicks are nasty. His boxing in the pocket is fine. His clinch work is good. I'd like to see him honestly throw more in the clinch, but I feel like the openings are there. It's just maybe you're right. Maybe it was a weight thing, but like I said, I just like Suzuki as an underdog because he's a very capable fighter and he's only lost 3 times.
Yeah. I mean, it's like you said, he's a road to UFC fighter, so he's been facing good competition, and it's just this is one of my fights I'm really looking forward to because I really think that both these fighters are going to go in there and try to steal that number one contendership and put on a good performance to say, hey, if the main event, if they shit the bed in the main event, you should pick me to plug me into the title fight instead because I put on an awesome performance here and got a good win. Either way, I believe it's going to be a finish. Either way, I think. I don't think this one goes to decision, but
I hope
now
so.
I said that, probably going to be a decision.
Well, I think it's either going to be a really fun fight or Kolesnik further puts us to sleep.
I think he's used to this weight class now, and I think he's really going to want to put on a stellar performance to try to take that number one contender fight from the main event fighters. So I just feel like it's going to give him a little extra edge in this bout. Let's put it that way. So I'm just really highly anticipating this one because I mean both these guys are they're not old, right? They're both in their athletic primes, and they're both excellent fighters. And like I was saying, this is like the backup number one contender bout right here, to where if they put on a good performance and the main event shits the bed or gets injured or anything like that, we could be very well seeing one of these guys right here in the main event for Super RIZIN 4 fighting Shao'Laya for the title.
Yeah. So
I mean, to me, it just adds extra level intrigue to it. That's interesting. The odds are like that. I'm surprised that Kolesnik is that much of a favorite. This is one I thought would be way more closer on the odds wise. That's interesting. That you're absolutely correct. It's worth it to throw a little bit on Sasu, but Kolesnik is a very well-rounded fighter, like you were talking about. He's got the striking, he's got the grappling, he's got it all, and but both these guys, I mean, their records are both stellar. This is a great fight, bro. I really don't think it's going to be a lackluster decision. Even if it is a decision, I think it's going to be a banger decision because I really think these guys are going to want to come in there and make a statement to try to take that number one contendership from the main event. So I'm just really looking forward to it.
I hope so. I'm confident that Suzuki will bring the fight as he always does. Kolesnik, he's the one where I'm like, we'll see. It takes 2 to tango. Let's see if you're gonna really show Barra that you want that spot.
Exactly. And let's see if he knows the assignment, for goodness sake. If you're gonna take him down and grapple, we want to see some ground and knees. We want to see some 12-6 elbows. We want to see some superior rules.
Yeah, no more calf kicks. We want to see soccer kicks. Let's go.
Exactly. Yeah. Remember, grounded kicks. Yeah.
All right. Next we have, speaking of old, by the way, we got Hiroki Suzuki. We go from young guns in their prime to Hiroki Suzuki, who's still He's still doing his thing. He's still doing his thing against Sora Yamamoto. Now, the battle of the losing streaks. General Killer, Hiroki Suzuki, 4-6 as a pro. 2-3 in his last 5 fights on a 3-fight losing streak, going up against Sora Yamamoto, who's 16-10-2, 24 years of age, right? Suzuki's 40, Yamamoto's 24, but Yamamoto, man, he has not been doing well lately. He's 1-4 in his last 5 fights on a 4-fight win streak, got knocked out by Nazimov in his last fight, lost to Kanehara before that, lost to a 3-0 Yokoyama at freaking Fighting Nexus, and lost to Vugar Karamov in RIZIN. So I will say 3 out of those 4 losses were to good opponents, and I'm not gonna blame him for that, but like, dude, bro, the guy you lost to in Fighting Nexus, like, come on. But anyways, still young, has actually quite a bit of experience, and I don't know, man. Do we trust Suzuki anymore? I mean, he did have a great and long career fighting Muay Thai, shoot boxing, kickboxing, and it always seems like he's coming in and his grappling has gotten better, that his takedowns are good, but it's just like, I have not, if he doesn't just straight up knock out his opponent, I haven't seen him put it all together, right? Because you look at Nishitani, he knocked out, Ashita, he knocked out, but then losing to, he got knocked out by Ren, which was, I didn't think it was going to be that easy, but then, Akimoto just got outworked everywhere, right? He got outworked on the feet, he got outworked in the grappling, and then in his last fight against Yasui, again, like, just beaten everywhere, and then when he had moments, it's just like he hasn't been able to put it together. Like he can employ the ones, he can employ the twos, but he can't add it together and put together, the solid 3, the solid, well-rounded game. And I think Yamamoto is going to catch him.
I agree with you as well. And there's a reason why they put this on the quote-unquote main fights after the intermission. The Epic Rising Fighting Federation brass has faith in these fighters that they're going to put on excellent fights, even though they got some losses on their records and stuff. But are these guys? I forgot. Are they? Is there a local guy in one of these fighters?
I'm not sure between these two, to be honest.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out why they was put so high on the card and after the intermission for this one. Maybe because Suzuki's kind of popular, or I don't know. But what do the official odds say for this one?
So this one's actually pretty close, where Suzuki's the slight underdog at plus 175, and Yamamoto's minus 260. Actually, you know what, J Wolf? Fuck that. I'm picking Suzuki. Dude,
the live dog.
PFC.
The OG.
Dude, PFC and Nexus, like the guys he's been beating, they're awful, man. Like, seriously, I'm just saying, like, I'm looking at his record right now, and I'm looking back at my notes, and I have in my notes, Fighting Nexus and PFC must be shit, because this guy has not beaten really anybody of note, man. And it's like, okay, you go to decision against Karamov, props, man. Yeah. You go to decision against Chihiro Suzuki, props. But you go back to freaking Fighting Nexus and, like, you beat a 3-0 guy, like, big fucking whoop. Road to 1 Sexy Yama edition. Okay, you beat a 5-0 guy who hasn't done much since. Like, it just seems like where he got his best wins and where he's looked good respectively, and he's been young, and he's so young, and he's been fighting like 5 to 6 times every year. The guys that he looks the best in, the guys who he knocks out, the guys who he submits, the guys in which he looks more well-rounded in, are trash, man. Like 0-0-1 guys. Yeah, I don't know. I flip a coin maybe, but yeah, I'll go with the unk on this one. I'm
gonna do the same thing. And hearing that the odds are that close gives me more confidence in that pick, because I feel like Suzuki is the bigger star of the two, even though his MMA record is only 4-6.
And look, he's 40, but he looks 30, right? Like,
he doesn't have. I mean, for mixed martial arts, fight miles is not as much as Yamamoto, even though Yamamoto is the young gun in this one. But I don't know. I just feel I'm going with the vet. I'm with you. Hearing the fight odds be that close, and he's only like a plus 100 something underdog. That's I mean, the odds makers know something, and he was put high on the quote unquote main fight card, after intermission for a reason.
Yeah.
The Epic RIZIN brass, like I was saying, they must see something in him that he's still got it, or these fighters still got it. So
yeah, plus 175. I'm going with the underdog on this one. Look, I'm not confident in either of these guys.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, Yamamoto's a little bit more well-rounded, but Suzuki does have power. He does have KO power. He's not great from the bottom. Like, if he's on his back, it's not good. But the cage might actually help him be able to wall walk a little bit more here.
Yeah.
And yeah, Yamamoto is definitely a little bit more of a submission threat, but I think the cage might actually work in Suzuki's favor here. And again, coin flip, I'm not confident either. I changed my pickup last minute. We're going with Suzuki.
Yeah, I think that's a good live dog pick. That's a good one. So,
all right,
let's get to the main.
We got the featured fight
now.
here. With the featured fight here, my boy Suguru Ni, the former king of Pancrase, getting one more shot. Because if he doesn't win this one, my heart is broken and I'm never rooting for this guy again. No. Come on, Suguru.
This is a tough bout for him, though.
Dude, this is the thing, man. Like, Suguru Ni got thrown into the fire in his, in his fight where you got to prove it to still be able to fight at the top level, because your little win streak now against cans means nothing. Absolutely nothing. Because he's going up against Ilkhom Nazimov, who is an absolute killer, bro. This guy's out of Uzbekistan, trains out of Russia, 30 years of age, 11-3, 4-1 in his last 5 fights on a 2-fight win streak, 5 knockouts, 3 submissions, and 3 decisions. Now, he's never lost a decision, J Wolf, but he's been submitted twice and he's got knocked out once. So he can be finished, right? 2-0 in RIZIN, in which he looked stellar. 3-1 in World Combat Self-Defense Association. What the fuck is that mean? He has fought in EFC. He has fought in UAE Warriors, which is really good. And I do like his record as well. He lost early in his career, right? Like, lost his pro debut against a 3-1 guy. Lost when he was 2-1. Then went on a pretty good streak fighting guys who were 5-3, 7-4, 10-5, 3-2. And then his most recent loss was, he got knocked out in the first round in UAE Warriors. Two guys who was actually pretty good, or who was pretty good at the time. Hasn't gone on to do much, but that kind of suggests that it was more of like a lucky punch. But overall in his career, I like his resume. He came in and won a decision at Landmark 7 in Azerbaijan. He looked okay. It was a unanimous decision. He looked okay, but then came back against Sora Yamamoto, who we were just talking about, and just absolutely schooled him, man. Like, took him down, beat him up, was beating him up on the feet. So he's extremely well-rounded. Don't get me wrong. He's extremely well-rounded. But Suguru Ni, I feel like high ceiling, low floor. He either fights extremely well and it's like, oh yeah, this is why I root for this guy, or he gets submitted against freaking Majima, who, like, again, all respect to Majima, he's a good grappler, but like, dude, it was like in the first round, was it not? First or second round, and he got his back and he had to defend the back take like twice in a row, and I was like, Suguru, what are you doing? Like, you're supposed to submit him. And then like Koji Takeda, again, it was just like, it was closer, but it's like, why didn't you just resort to your striking? Because, like, I know you're more of a jiu-jitsu guy, but like, Takeda's Takeda. We know what he is. Like, he's more of a grappler. If he can slam you and suplex you, like, okay, the crowd will be happy, and that's honestly probably half the reason why RIZIN's even paying him anymore right now. But 3 KO TKOs, 11 submissions, and 5 decisions for Suguru Ni. 2-4 in RIZIN, 7-5 in Pancrase, 4-3 in Deep, and 3-1 in X1 World Events. Yeah, he's not doing too good right now. On a 2-fight losing streak in MMA, and he's also lost a grappling match as well. Majima, got his back, rear naked choked him. Takeda won the decision. Before them was on a hell of a streak. What was it? 5-fight win streak in MMA and a grappling match in there as well. And he was the king of Pancrase, actually beating a pretty good opponent. But if you go a little deeper, you look at the guys who he beat, and it's like Ryo Tagaji and Kame were like the best 2 guys. Lita's not that great. Hansen, not that great. But it was cool that he took out all these guys in like the first and second round. He actually has a loss to Sora Yamamoto back in 2022 and lost to Nakamura in 2021. I mean, Daisuke Nakamura, man, the prospect killer. Man, Suguru knee, it's just like my confidence in him has dwindled so much.
Oh, what do the official odds say for this one?
The odds for this one are knee is plus 300 and Nazimov's minus 500.
See, yeah.
Who do you have in this one?
Oh, definitely Nazimov. I feel like he's the featured, like the featured foreigner on this card, like they want to build into. His the weight class is the featherweight division, arguably RIZIN's premier division right now. That's Shadaliev's division that he's a champion of right now, the featherweight division, and I feel like they want to build up Nazimov to be a contender, and I feel like this is a step on the way right there, beating the former King of Pancrase, all that good stuff. A good fight. Nia is a good fighter, but those odds just make me even more confident in my pick, and. I'm going Nazimov the whole way. I'm looking for him. There's a reason why they put him so high on the card. Like, this is one of the featured bouts. Like, there's only the co-main and the main above this one. So, that's because they want to showcase the winner of this bout right here, and I feel like they want to build him into. And plus, also knee, like you said, he's on a little skid right now. Nazimov is on a streak. So to me, it's just like they want to. It's not technically not a showcase bout for Nazimov, because a showcase bout is like an easy cakewalk fight, and he's not going to be an easy cakewalk. But I feel like they want Nazimov to win to build him into a title contender to take on Shadaliev.
Yeah, and Nazimov's last loss was I hate saying fluke, but it was a puncher's chance punch that landed, that knocked him out, right?
Right. Yeah. So But I mean, he's looked absolutely stellar in his wins, and just he was on the RIZIN Azerbaijan card, if I remember correctly, and put on a great performance on that one. That was their first international event they did, if I remember correctly. I might be misremembering wrong. It is kind of late here. I know it's late for you as well, but I definitely the point is that he is one of the fighters that they want to push into a title shot in the future. And so I feel like this is a step right here. That's why it's so high on the card. That's why they gave him a winnable fight, not a cakewalk pushover fight, but a winnable fight. So, and that's why the odds makers have him as, obviously the favorite in this bout. So definitely picking Nazimov, looking for a stellar performance here. And I want to see some superior rule set. Darn it. Let's see some superior rules set. Let's see the assignment. Let's see you, stamp your ticket into that contendership. Get for Shadaliev and put on a stellar performance right here, get a superior rule set finish, and say, hey, Shadaliev, you're next, buddy, and get right in the mix.
All right. Nazimov, great power, good striking, decent grappling. But you know what I will say, though? And like I said in like my initial thoughts on him, that like overall I like his record. But if you pull up the magnifying glass, the guys who he knocked out and was able to outstrike were the cans, like were the only cans on his record. Now, not all of them, but the majority of the guys that he finished in like incredible fashion with the sickest knockouts and the sickest highlights that he currently has in his career were against like the 3-0 guys, the guys making their debuts, right? Kind of the middle of his career when he like going around different promotions and getting, whatever fights that he could. So that is just something to note, that like his best performances overall, most of his best performances have been against the easiest guys, right? So this will be
the RIZIN Azerbaijan performance that really put him on the map with RIZIN.
No, yeah, and Yuris Dia was 10-5 respectively, and then he beat Sora Yamamoto quite handedly. But again, like those two guys are good, just like Knee is good. So like if he gets through Knee, it's like okay, let's give him an even bigger stepping stone, because
that's exactly what they're gonna do.
Yeah, because I feel like the last two guys and Knee now in the mix are kind of like a certain level, a certain bar, but like RIZIN can give him a little bit more. But I just wanted to point that out, because Knee, in my opinion, is the slicker grappler. Now, does that mean wrestler? No. And sometimes the jiu-jitsu and the grappling, the more jiu-jitsu side of the grappling guys, jiu-jitsu heavy grappling guys get just out-wrestled. But I don't think that will be the case here, because when Knee goes up against another pure jiu-jitsu guy, that's when he like freaking freezes up. And it's like, I'm supposed to be the guy getting the back. Why are you getting my back right now? Whereas Nazimov is not necessarily going to go to the back take right away. He's going to take him down first, land some ground and pound, trying to get side control before just taking the back. Where, again, when Suguru Knee fought Majiba was able to just get those hooks in right away. It wasn't just like a traditional blast double leg or push you up against the ropes or a cage and pull out the legs, the Russian style wrestling that we've been seeing. And that's, in fairness, what has been working. I don't like how Knee gives up the back, but like I just said, like easy, but it's mostly against jiu-jitsu guys. Striking good enough to box, not to get hit and to find the level change. Knee, we're going with you, buddy. Don't let me down.
Wow, you're picking the underdog Knee. Nice.
Upset.
There's
always upsets on the RIZIN cards, J Wolf, and I feel like I always pick the wrong fucking dog. So we'll see if it works this time.
This is a big one though.
This one's a swing. This one's a swing, man.
But that's why it's so high on the card.
Dude, the Chinese kid and Knee, these are my two biggest swings on the card. I will either look like a genius or an absolute fool throwing away these picks.
No, you're definitely looking like a genius no matter what, even if they don't hit. But I'm telling you, this is going to be a good fight. I just feel like they're, especially if Nazimov puts on a good performance, they're going to put him in a number one contender bout next. I almost guarantee it. But if it's just a regular performance, then they're probably going to make him win one or two more before they give him the contendership. So, but it's going to be good either way. And Knee's definitely looking to bounce back. So it's going to be a banger. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Co-main event should be an absolute banger as well, J Wolf. We got the rising star, he's 30 now, so hardly the rising star, but Yoshinori Horie against Yamato Nishikawa. Man, I am so fucking stoked for this one, because Nishikawa, a little bit more of a padded record, okay, a lot more of a padded record. 22 years of age, 22 wins, 5 losses, 6 draws. When I see 6 draws, I know you're fighting in very low level promotions, okay? But having said that, like, oh my God, look at all the experience he has and the potential he still has, right? I love this, because Yoshinori Horie, we kind of know what he is. 30 years of age, in his prime, 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Did lose his last fight to Luis Gustavo, but Gustavo didn't.
It was a banger.
Gustavo didn't finish him, and it was a war. Like, yeah, Gustavo clearly won, but it was a war, and Horie showed that he's just a G, not in a gi. He beat Spike Carlisle, and that was an incredible performance against Spike Carlisle.
Yeah, that's probably his best performance of his career, in my opinion.
Yeah, lost to Vugar via submission. No shame in that. The Vugar's former champ and is one of RIZIN's best fighters. Beat Nakata 3 years ago. Now, Horie hasn't been insanely active, but beat Nakata 3 years ago, and that's a win that has aged well for sure. And Sasaki before then, who is a grizzled vet. Like, I like his recent wins and just his performances overall in RIZIN. He's more of a striker than anything, though. He's more than a striker than anything. So if a guy does have really good jiu-jitsu, like Karamov was able to do with relative ease, that's the hole in his game, right? But like been there, done that, been around pro MMA and competed in pro MMA long enough to be capable in his grappling defense, but he wants to keep the fights on the feet. He wants to get the knockouts. 6 knockouts, 7 decisions, 4-2 in RIZIN. He had 1 fight in the UFC, eh?
Really? Nice.
Yeah, he had 1 fight in the UFC where he actually lost in the 3rd round to Hakeem Dawodu. Hakeem Dawodu, the Canadian, actually, out of I believe he's out of Calgary, Alberta, actually. He head kicked him back in the UFC, and that was a one and done, I guess. He goes to Pancrase and actually puts on some really good performances, split decision against Nakajima, and some really good wins there as well before coming over to RIZIN, getting his first win at the RIZIN Trigger event, right? The first, what is now Landmarks, where he, like I said, got a really good win and showed well against Nakata. But Yamato Nishikawa, also 3-2 in his last 5, 14 knockouts, 4 submissions, 4 decisions. But again, a lot of these padded knockouts. Let's just say that padded knockout records. But he did draw the eye of the PFL, which is, hey, that is for a 22-year-old out of Japan. Like, that's something, man. That's something. Lost 2 fights in PFL. Obviously, like, there it is, the fucking PFC, bro. The padded record, or the padded fight commission. What's something with C? The padded fight cage. The padded fight cage league. 8-1-5 in padded fight cage. 9-0 in Shuto. 1-1-1 in Grotchen. Hey, respect for bouncing around the lower ranks of Japan there. Clay Collard, respect going to a decision with him. Shane Burgos, respect going to a decision with him, right? Like, he didn't come into the PFL and just get starched by 2 of their top guys, right? So as I go through his career, he was the Shuto champ. He beat a 16-5 guy when he was 19 years of age, which is something. And he's got 13-5 wins, right? Guys who are 13-6. What are some other good ones? 7-3, 9-3, 5-3 wins, 12-3 wins. When he was only 3-0, he beat a 12-3 guy. When he was 2-0, he beat a 6-3 guy. But then you look in between some of these. You know, he comes off fighting a 7-3 guy and he beats a 2-1 guy, fights a 10-10 guy, 3-3, 1-1. Oh, and then, you know, fights a better guy. So that's just the thing. He's got like a Chinese Wulin Fang record, despite him being from Japan. Before I give my pick, how am I missing anything in my breakdown? And who do you think takes this one?
You know, the only thing I would add to that, it was fantastic breakdown all night, actually, for every single bout. Just amazing with your notes and the video footage. It even got me more hyped up for some of the bouts that I was even already super hyped for, like the heavyweight Grand Prix bout. I mean, just an incredible job, Aisha. You're amazing. But for this one, Horie is a fan favorite. So, and I don't know, I forget if he's a local guy or not, but they have him as high on the card for a reason, because he's a fan favorite and they got him up against a good fighter in Ishikawa. And I feel like since Horie put on such a good performance against Spike, went to war with Gustavo, who was the previous title challenger for lightweight, I feel like a good performance here from Horie and a win. He could be next for the lightweight title. And You remember, Satoshi-san just fought. It was a non-title bout, but he won in like under a minute. So it was like 50 seconds or something awesome like that, right? So he is fresh and ready to go, and he needs a title contender. So I feel like they put this fight so high up on the card in a co-main event.
That's a good point. He needs someone to fight.
Exactly. And I feel like if Horie puts on a good performance here, beats this good opponent, good young gun opponent, only 22 years old, great record like you were saying. And, he's got some losses in Western organizations like PFL and stuff, but still, they didn't finish him, and it's not like he was fighting chumps.
No,
right?
Clay Collard and Shane Burgos, man, that's
exactly
great experience.
To me, this is an unofficial number one contender bout for Horie. I feel like if he wins this, he could be fighting Satoshi-san for the lightweight title. If he does a good performance here and wins, and I think they might have told him that. So I'm just wondering if that's giving him an edge. Right. And now I'm curious to hear, what are the official odds say on this? Is it close or is it lopsided?
It's very close. Horie's the slight underdog at plus 115.
Really?
Nishikawa's minus 155. I mean, it's pretty much a pick 'em, but Horie at plus money from a betting perspective, that's the one you should bet on. But
yes, that is the livest dog on this card. 100%. So that's, and especially with, if he's got an extra chip on his shoulder to where he knows that if they've told him that, hey, you put on a good performance here, you're going to be fighting for the title next, that could give him the extra edge to beat Nishikawa here. So, and he's going to have the crowd on his side. And if he is a hometown guy, it'll give him even more, a wind behind his sails.
Yeah, he's not from Sapporo. He's from Nagasaki, but he, like you said, he is super popular. One thing I want to say is I think that's awesome, because I wasn't even thinking about that as a potential top contender fight. I still want to see KSW send Saladin over, or RIZIN send Satoshi over and fight Saladin for the one.
Thank you so much for bringing that up, because
he's the only. Seriously, who's left for Saladin? Because Saladin was He's won 45 and 155 champ, and he tried to fight for 170 and suffered a loss at 170. Like Saladin tried to become the KSW triple champ, couldn't get it at 170. He's too undersized, got basically pushed up against the cage for 5 rounds and lost. But could you imagine? Like that is a world super fight. 2 guys that like are UFC level. Saladin turned down a UFC contract because he's getting fucking paid in KSW, and he's the king of KSW. He's the king of France right now. Like, imagine that fight. Now, unfortunately, both belts couldn't be on the line because RIZIN doesn't do 5-round fights. If RIZIN did, then like you could bet. If RIZIN had 5-round fights, you could realistically put Satoshi and Saladin winner takes all. Like winner gets both belts, like freaking boxing style, right? Unfortunately, it's going to have to be one or the other, but I'm down for it because I feel like that is the biggest challenge for both those 2 guys. And like who else, outside the UFC are they going to fight?
Exactly. And did you see the Combat Sports Today news tweet about Saladin Parnasse talking about he wants to fight in the Epic Rise and challenge the champions?
Okay, well,
did you see that?
I didn't, but shout out Combat Sports Today. Then it's happening, bro.
Exactly.
And it's happening. And that is the fight.
That's why I'm so happy you brought that up, because that is actually a very real because who's he got to fight in KSW?
Nope.
At lightweight class, nobody, right? So it makes sense for them to lend him to RIZIN for a super fight with Satoshi. And since they don't do 5-round fights yet, or 10-minute first rounds, or which is another possibility that might be coming soon, by the way, a 10-minute first round, Almighty Pride FC style for the championship bouts. But it could be in the future. But anyways, since they don't do 5-round fights, the title won't be on the line. The KSW doesn't risk him losing the KSW title by sending him over to face Satoshi. So it would just be a super fight.
Nothing to lose, all to gain for Saladin.
Exactly. That could very well be what's going to happen next. I mean, so even though this Horie bout with Nishikawa would be a good, they're still probably going to tell Horie, hey, with the winner, you could be facing Satoshi-san next if we can't make the Parnasse fight happen, right? So it's just a lot of extra stuff here, and man, I'm so glad he brought up that Saladin Parnasse fight, and it gave me an opportunity to let you know about that Combat Sports.
Dude, that's awesome because
today.
when Satoshi won, I was screaming in my mic, Saladin, he's next. The whole and my chat was doing it too, so that's awesome.
Nice.
that it might actually come to fruition.
Dude, he actually said, name drop RIZIN, not just saying, oh, I want to fight in Japan something. He actually said, I want to fight in Japan. I want to fight in RIZIN in Japan. I want to face the RIZIN champions.
Where's the Kirkland lube? It's going to be a long night, ladies and gentlemen. All right. I'm going Nishikawa on this one. Okay. I'm going the young gun. I'm going the favorite.
I'm going to go the opposite. I'm going to go with the live underdog here with Horie.
All right.
I feel like it's going to give him a little extra edge here.
I will say, I wrote in my notes, holy fuck, sick fight. I know Nishikawa is younger, but he does have more experience, mind you, not against the best guys. Whereas Horie actually has some amazing wins, and like we highlighted, really just fights against top guys in multiple organizations. Horie does have power, and both have fought in relatively good organizations, right? Even though Nishikawa's best performances have been in the padded league. That's what I'm just going to call it now, PFC, the padded fight cage. Yeah. Just like I call PFL the Positive Fighters League, or because everyone was pissing hot that one year, and the Pussy Fighters League.
Stopped doing the collaboration. I've been calling them PF Fumble. PF Fumble. Their elite fighters and stuff, and
that's good.
I call them Dummy Don Davis for stopping the collab. But hopefully, you know what? Apparently they're in talks to restart collaboration.
Fuck them, dude. I don't care about that shit. Nishikawa, I feel like has insane power as well. Has brutal TKOs, and what I like about him is he chases the knockouts or chases the finish, even on the ground. And sometimes even if there's an opportunity or an opening for a submission there, he'd rather just get his arm around the torso and just start throwing hands to the face. And now with superior rule set, he can maybe get both arms over, one arm under the shoulder, and just get some leverage to throw that knee, especially since there's a cage. Again, I love the ring way more aesthetically, and I love the RIZIN ring in particular. One Championships is way too flimsy, the ropes, so it doesn't work. I love RIZINs, but I feel like the cage is actually going to help make some of these particular fighters fights a lot more entertaining, like we talked about.
Yeah, and like you were saying, the refs
Yep.
they will not allow wall install to be happening in this, for long. They'll break them up with the quickness and get the action flowing. So
yeah. So despite most of Nishikawa's knockouts coming in PFC, he did have a good run in Shudo, fought good guys in the PFL to a loss, but still went to decision. So this is just this is a sick fight. Bro. This is a sick fight.
Yeah. And that's why they have it as a co-main event. It's going to be a banger, 100%.
All right.
Let's get to the main event.
Like the main event of the evening. No title on the line here. No title fight, but a sick fight nonetheless, and it is featuring a former champion in Vugar, Karamov.
And it was announced that it is a number one contender bout. So
wow.
If whoever wins this is going to be facing Shadalayev, possibly as early as Super RIZIN 4. That's why they have not they did not announce it officially. They said Shadalayev is possibly fighting a Super RIZIN 4 because they're waiting to see what happens in this bout right here. And how much damage the fighters takes if they're able to make that quick turnaround to Super RIZIN 4.
So I'm just gonna quickly I'm gonna run through the preview because I got something I wanna riff with you about here. Okay, so like Vugar Karamov, 20 wins, 6 losses, the former champ, 3-2 in his last 5 fights, and is coming off a loss to Roberto de Souza. He got submitted by him. Satoshi's just on a fucking another level right now. So like no shame in that. I thought Karamov would honestly put up a better fight, but it is what it is. He did come back to RIZIN after almost 2 years off. If you know, you know. We won't get into that story. We've talked about it before, but freaking hooligans, man. Anyways, came back from being a hooligan and knocked out Majima, who was on a little bit of a run, and just brutalized him with the elbow and just looked like old Karamov. And then Satoshi beat him quick, but Satoshi's beating everybody quickly right now, so it is what it is. But yeah, man.
And that was at a weight class higher.
That is true.
Satoshi is a lightweight.
Yeah. So
Karamov is a featherweight.
Exactly. So Karamov did fight him, and Karamov did look a little pudgy for that one too.
And in the title fight loss to Chihiro Suzuki, remember he was winning that. And it was just Chihiro's brilliant fight IQ to throw the superior and knowing the assignment. The superior rule set, throwing that up kick that just caught Karamov.
So
that's how he lost the title.
In Azerbaijan, Karamov was out grappling Suzuki, and in one point, Suzuki with the up knee, the up kick, a little bit of hybrid of both.
It was an up kick, and it started when Karamov had his knee down, so it was technically a superior rule set strike, but he was standing up, and he stood up into it, and Chihiro Suzuki just got him right on the chin and knocked him out, and then he fell into Chihiro's guard, and Chihiro just got the rare, knockout from the bottom. It was just,
what's crazy? What's crazy about it is I honestly thought Vugar was going to win that fight just because he was going to out wrestle Chihiro, and that's or out grapple him, maybe submit him.
He was supposed to.
Well, I know, and not only
in Azerbaijan,
J-Wolf, not only that, but we were all expecting a long run for him after.
Yeah.
And it halted, right? It halted, and then he tried for the lightweight title, couldn't get it done. So I do think he'll get back on track, and he snatched the belt from Mikuru Asakura, and we thought it was okay, this is the passing of the guard, the passing of the baton. The new reign is in Azerbaijan. Is from an Azerbaijani now. Nope, the Japanese got it, and by the way, what a beauty, Chihiro Suzuki. Instead of just flying right back to Japan, the next day went to, I think it was local orphanage, and did some community work in Azerbaijan too, which is what an absolute stellar human he is.
That's why I love calling him Chihiro, and I spell it Hero. Chihiro.
Hell yeah. But Vugar on his run beat Horie, beat Yamamoto, beat Nakajima, 3 pretty talented fighters. Lost a close split decision to Saito, which no shame in that either. And before then, in RIZIN, Bellator, RWC, WWFC, dude, he beat a 5-1 guy, 10-3, 9-2. Okay, some bum in Bellator they knocked down the first round, 22-23. And then came into RIZIN, had a good performance in his debut fight against Kyle. Who was it again? I don't even know how to say his last name.
Kyle Agwan?
Agwan, yes, Kyle Agwan, who's 13-8 respectively. So Love Vugar's style. He's a good striker, but a very, very good wrestler with some, I don't want to say slick submissions, but like slick grappling to get into positions where he can either go for a submission or just hurt you on the ground. So pretty well-rounded overall. He's going up against a very inexperienced fighter out of the Brave Gym, who you'd think, okay, he's out of Brave Gym, he probably has some grappling. This guy doesn't give a fuck about grappling, man. He wants to knock you out. And in his RIZIN debut coming from Gladiator, Shuya Kimura did just that.
Blam.
Unbelievable. And he was going against a Yokoyama who was 6-1, dude. It's not like they threw him in with an unk, right? They threw him up against an up-and-coming guy as well. So he's 1-0 in RIZIN, 3-0 in Gladiator, and he had one fight in Grotchen as well. I wasn't super high on him coming into RIZIN. I thought the win over Yul Jung Kim in Gladiator, the first round knockout, was awesome, but he was coming off 3 first round knockouts in a row before then. Every single victory of his is a first round knockout. So like, does he have cardio? Can he grapple? I know he's out of a grappling heavy gym, but can he grapple in real time? And will he be so lucky to find that shot on Karamov like Suzuki did? Although this time I think it's going to be on the feet, not a freaking up knee. But you know what? We said that about Suzuki as well. So I was blown away that he's only the plus 225 underdog.
Wow. That's
Vugar's
really
minus 350. I thought Vugar was going to be like minus 800. And again, that's no disrespect. It's just like the lack of experience and never been past the second round or never been past the first round as a pro, right? Never been past the first round. All his knockouts have come within the first minute and a half.
Yeah, they're really high on him, and
he's talented. He hits hard, but like he's never fought anybody like Vugar, man. This is his chance right here. This is his shot. I mean, dude. I guarantee you, they've already told them that they announced it at the Super RIZIN 4 presser, saying, "Hey, the winner of this bout right here is going to be possibly facing Aounallah at Super RIZIN 4." I'm just scared it's too much too soon, man. He's only 25, and like, okay, yeah, you've beaten 2 guys in a row now who like have good records, but now you're going into a title eliminator, like, man, like.
Yeah, against a guy like Vugar. I mean, clearly it's Vugar's to lose here, but still, it's not like Kimura doesn't has zero chance. Look at the odds makers.
Dude, that's what blew my mind. So
yeah,
maybe he's more dangerous in the other areas than I give him credit for. But in my defense, J-Wolf, I haven't seen him get past the first fucking minute and 30 seconds of the first round. So like, I don't have any grappling defense. I don't have any of that shit to analyze, to watch. He knocks guys out in the first round. Could he knock out Karamov in the first round? Sure. Because he's knocked out everybody else in the first round.
If he does, he's next for Aounallah right away. So that's what's going to happen.
Aounallah's going to kill him, bro. But anyways, who do you got in this one?
Oh, I'm picking Vugar Karamov 100%. I feel like it's like I said, it's his fight to lose here. And it just depends on how much damage he takes in this bout, and if he's able to make the kind of quick turnaround to be on the Super RIZIN 4 card against Aounallah. But clearly, I think that's what the RIZIN brass wants, is for Karamov to win this and set up a fantastic title fight between Karamov and Aounallah. But again, like we were saying about the Kolesnik bout, if either one of these guys gets injured or they shit the bed, it's a boring, but lackluster performance or whatever, there's a backup, number 1 contender bout on this card. Maybe that'll give them an extra chip on their shoulder to actually turn up the jets here and actually put on a sensational performance and go fight for the finish instead of just fighting to win, and try to just take that number 1 contender bout and be like, yeah, I'm the one fighting Aounallah next, and it's gonna happen. So
well, and it puts Gladiator on the map a little bit more. Like, hey, we developed this guy, even though he only fought one good opponent, but like still he was he was 1-0. He fought a guy making his debut. He was 2-0. Fought another camp. But like, you know what I mean? Like he's still. I always say this.
He's still knocking him out.
Yeah,
knocking him out first round.
And I always say this: until your fifth pro fight, I'm not going to judge you based on your opponent's record. You're just getting fights at that point. You're just getting reps, right? Until you get when you have your fifth pro fight, I expect you to at least take on like a 3-1 guy at least, not some or a 4-1 guy, someone around your level, a step up in competition, or someone even better. Holy fuck, is this guy taking a step up in competition in his sixth fight? Look, he could look. We've said this a couple times out. He could get the knockout. That's his strength. He's dangerous. He's explosive. He's a quick finisher.
And he's a young gun. He's Japanese. So that's what they're thinking. Hey, if this kid can get it done here, you know, we got a potential another star on our hands now.
But Karamov probably gets a takedown, probably gets his back, probably submits him. He's got great wrestling. He's explosive.
It's a banger fight, and the odds makers know it too. That's incredible. I'm so happy to hear that it's not a lopsided on the odds. And
bro, I swung on too many underdogs. I just couldn't pick them. I was like, if I pick the Chinese kid and I gotta.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But I picked Gustavo. I picked Gustavo the last times he lost though, and I was pretty confident there. So.
Oh yeah. Was that what you wanted to riff with me about? Was that the odds were so close or no?
No, yeah. That the odds are so close. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, nice.
Because that surprised me. And again, people probably saying, "Well, minus 350, that's a pretty big favorite." Well, for a guy who's 5-0 and who's never been past a minute 30 in a fight, like they have a lot of confidence in him.
They do. And they're basically throwing him into the fire here to try to see if they can create a new star. Because if he wins this, dude, his star is going up like a rocket ship to the moon.
Especially because he's a knockout artist.
Exactly. And everybody loves a knockout artist. And the Japanese fans would just absolutely just love this kid if he can get it done. So
absolutely.
That's why it's the main event. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be a banger either way. So, but I'm definitely picking Vugar to get it done here. It just depends on how much, like I was saying, how much damage is going to, what kind of performance is going to be. He's going to be able to take this kid out quick, you know, with a nice submission finish, you know, and stamp his ticket to face Shot Alive at Super RIZIN 4. So it's really going to be one to watch. I mean, I just can't wait to watch this one. I mean, like I was saying, the heavyweight Grand Prix bout, and thanks to you, Aisha, I'm even more excited about that one. I just cannot wait. And all these, man, it's just absolute stellar card. 15 superior rule set bouts, 19 total bouts. And the opening ceremony now, they're elevating the profile of these landmark cards to where now they have opening ceremonies with them, and they're still going to have the lightning fast pacing. So, man, I'm super excited, bro.
Their pacing on the card is going to be better than our pacing on this podcast. I mean, I don't know. Do you want to talk about Super RIZIN 4? You want to preview the next Black Combat card? No, we're ending it here, ladies and gentlemen. That is it.
Because you know I could.
Oh, I know.
You know I could, brother.
We've gone through it all, guys. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing. Go check out Focus Fights. Go check out We Are RIZIN podcast. They are huge Japanese combat sports fans. They cover all the RIZIN events, pre-shows, interviews, recaps, the whole 9 yards. And I just love how all you guys keep coming back to the City Life Project YouTube channel for this preview and extended podcast for the mighty RIZIN. And it's always a pleasure to bring you on, Jay Wolf. Thank you so much again. For those watching, listening, you can find me on social at VI Sports Talk anywhere. Don't forget to subscribe to the City Life Project. And Jay Wolf, where can they find you?
On Twitter X as JAYYOLAF1. It's misspelled on purpose because when I start commenting on Yahoo message boards way back in like 06 or whatever, there was like a million other J Wolves, so I just misspelled it. It's easier to search, and that's how you know it's me. It's actually me. So, and if you're a real person, not a bot or anything, I'll follow right back. And also on the RIZIN FF Fans Discord server, I actually have more fun in there than I do on Twitter because, you know, it's private and anything goes in there. So just don't post illegal links. And don't do no racism. That's the only rules. You can talk trash, you can troll, and we talk everything. We don't just talk RIZIN, we talk all combat sports. We even have an off-topic channel where we talk like movies and stuff. It's a lot of fun in there. So everybody join there. We watch the fights live in there. It's just, but you know, you want to follow Aisha and the City Live Project to do the fight companion is what it's called, right? When you watch the fights live, yes. So make sure you guys tune into Aisha's fight companion stream and maybe have a side window open with the Discord to chat with us as well.
Absolutely. Well, I know I will.
That's where you can find us.
I know I will. Yes, I'm covering the event as I cover every RIZIN event live. I do every podcast the few days prior to the event with the mighty J-Wolf. Cannot wait to start previewing some Black Combat with you down the road, as well as Super RIZIN 4, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes,
but that is it for this podcast. J-Wolf, last word goes to you.
I'm just going to send us off like we always do, and I'm talking about the almighty Pride FC when I say this, and that's Pride never die. Pride has risen.